Call toll free 1.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
FLA.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe, and everybody, as soon as you start watching, like the video. That helps spread the word on YouTube about this channel. Like the video and share on whatever social media platform you're using. Here we go.
To call the show toll free, dial 1-888-COCAINE 1. That's 1-888-COCAINE 1. And
Yes. All right. Yes. Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. It is Monday morning, July the 12th, 2021. And man, is there so much going on in this world to talk about today. Oh man, we will talk about President Trump and his historic speech yesterday, which was absolutely amazing. But right now, as we speak, there is a freedom revolution going on in Cuba. And I'm here to tell you that the American left are in a complete panic. Oh, yeah. The left are in a panic. The Democrats are in a panic. AOC and Bernie Sanders are in a panic. The news media, they don't know what to do. And Biden, while Biden he's blaming the pandemic on what's going on down there. What is happening in Cuba is going to cause all kinds of problems for the left, both Biden and the media, because how do they react to it? You know, Bernie Sanders, so they've got this whole Democrat socialist wing of the Democrat Party, which is driving everything the Democrats do, the AOC Bernie Sanders. So Bernie Sanders came out and attacked Branson for the space launch yesterday, a non-event. Who cares, right? Right. So so Bernie Sanders, he comes out and talks about taxing the billionaires. Notice he skipped over the millionaires because, like a good democratic socialist, Bernie Sanders is a multi-millionaire. So who wants to tax the millionaires? They're just the working poor in his mind. That's him. That's his money. He wants to go after the billionaires. But Bernie Sanders found time to release a statement attacking Branson on this space launch yesterday, which was very non-eventful, I thought. And not a word about what's going on in Cuba. And, a lot of you may not remember, even those of you that were around at the time, may not remember one of the saddest days for the American left. Do you know what that was? There have been a few days that the left have had complete meltdowns, but in the modern time, in the era of color television, since color television has been the norm, what was the saddest day for the American left? Do you know? It was the day that the Berlin Wall came down. Because when the Berlin Wall came down, communism failed. When the Soviet Union became a failed state, the left just went into a state of depression. It was like Trump derangement syndrome, but worse, because that was their great hope. And the American left, the AOCs, the Bernie Sanders, the de Blasios, the Michael Moores, have been praising and promoting Cuba for, as long as I've been alive, because it's been communist longer than I've been alive. So, can Biden, can the Democrats come out and support this freedom revolution that's going on in Cuba right now? I don't think they can. I don't think they can at all. They've been communist. They hide behind this democratic socialist thing. Democratic socialism is socialism. The socialism they support is communist. And they believe that Cuba is the workers' paradise. They thought the same thing about the Soviet Union. And I'll tell you, the way the media are handling these freedom protests, and I was on Twitter yesterday, late in the day. These freedom protests in Cuba are not just in Havana. They're happening all over Havana, but they're happening throughout the entire island of Cuba, and even in small towns that don't have paved roads. And a lot of these things are leaking out through people's cell phones. There's more people that have access to the internet in Cuba, then I realized, and if you go to my Twitter, because there was a lot on Twitter, so I did a lot of retweeting. I retweeted quite a few videos yesterday afternoon. So if you go to my Twitter and scroll down to yesterday, you'll see some of them. These are in tiny towns, and they're not just protests that are people walking through the streets. They're taking on the police. There was one protest outside of Havana. Okay, there's protest in Havana too, but in one of the towns there was a mass protest in front of the Communist Party offices, calling out for freedom. So this is a huge thing, and it's very historic. And the way the media are handling it, even conservative media so far, I've seen it really ticking me off. I was reading the New York Post today. And I was very surprised to see this in the New York Post. I will give the New York Post a break because it was the weekend and the main people were off. Okay, so let's see what they do today, and let's see what they do today. But, you know, the media are calling I call them freedom protests. Okay, that's what I call them. But what the media are calling them are anti-government protests. They're calling them anti-government protest. And I read an article in the New York Post today that used anti-government protest. That may be technically accurate, okay? That might be technically accurate. No, it's tint on the windows. When the sun comes up, you'll see out. It's not a mirror. These are not anti-government protests in Cuba. These are freedom protests. The government in Cuba is not a legitimate government. They came to power by revolution. And President Kennedy screwed everything up in Cuba. Okay? Cuba is in the situation it is today because of the incompetence and stupidity of President Kennedy. But the reason that there's a U.S. embargo on Cuba is one reason and one reason only. Do you know what it is? Castro never had a free election. They have elections in Cuba, but only one party is on the ticket, the Communist Party. So the U.S. embargo is in place until Cuba has a free and fair election. Now, the media and the Democrats give you the party line from Cuba, okay? And they always have. The reason Cuba is in the situation it is in is because of the U.S. embargo. The United States is the only country on the planet that has an embargo against Cuba. Okay? Every other country in the world does business with Cuba. Europe, Canada, all of Latin America. I know a lot of Canadians that have taken many a vacation to Cuba. Cuba is not in poverty because of the U.S. embargo, because remember, every other country on the planet is open to trade with Cuba. We're the only country that has an embargo on Cuba. So their situation doesn't have anything to do with us. It has to do with their corrupt, failed communist system. And the problem in Cuba is Cuba has no international credit because Castro never paid back any of his loans. He just kept all the money. So they don't have credit. And when things got really bad in Cuba is when the Soviet Union fell. It was always bad under communism, but it was held up to a sustainable level while the Soviet Union was around throwing money at Cuba. But after the Berlin Wall fell, the Cuban system got worse. So there's a freedom revolution going on right now as we speak in Cuba. I hope that President Trump and the Trump family come to Miami and take part in some of these events that are going to be going on in Miami. Now, Biden released a statement. They got a statement from the White House. They're blaming the government's lack of response to the pandemic in Cuba for this. This has nothing to do with that. I turned on TV and I saw they had the Cuban president speaking. For a moment, I thought it was Biden because he was sitting at his desk alone with no one around wearing a mask. This is not, so when the White House says that this has to do with their poor pandemic response in Cuba, to me, that's Biden supporting the communist regime down there. That is not why they are in the streets. And these people, if you watch the videos out of Cuba, not just the still images, the still images you're seeing mostly are coming from one photographer. There are a lot of independent videos that are being taken by men and women on the streets that are getting them out of Cuba somehow. And that's what I'm looking at on Twitter. And that's how I know that these protests are not just in Havana, but in small towns throughout the island. I don't know how they organized an island-wide event like this. It's absolutely amazing. And they need the support of the United States in any way we can give it. And they're at a severe disadvantage while they're out there fighting against police and everything else that's going on down there in Cuba. They're a completely unarmed population because Castro, the first thing Castro did when he took over after the revolution was take everyone's guns away, including his fellow revolutionaries. So you have a completely unarmed population in Cuba who are rising up at incredible risk. All of these people that are taken to the streets could spend the rest of their lives in prison or be killed on the spot for what they're doing. This is like Tiananmen Square, except this has a chance of being successful. This is like what happened when they tore down the Berlin Wall. But see, the Democrats love Castro. The liberals, all these liberal activists have been flying down there forever, praising Cuba. Not just Michael Moore, all the top Hollywood celebs over the years. And this has an opportunity to be successful because, the Castros aren't running the country anymore. So the guy that's the president now doesn't have that Castro mystique around him. So this is great stuff, and it is historic. And you watch, and see, the media, including the liberal media, they've all been brainwashed. It's not just that they're socialist and support this kind of regime. It's that they were brainwashed in college to be pro-Castro, to be pro-communist, in particular in Cuba. And the media, they don't even really understand what's going on down there. So this is very exciting. I hope we get a lot more coverage out of it. Things are leaking out on Twitter. CNN, they've had a bureau down there forever, so they should be out there really covering this, but they're in conflict because they're Cuban communist lovers. So we'll take our first break of the week. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977, our number is toll-free from anywhere, 1-888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. Let's take our break. We'll be right back after this. Don't go anywhere.
This is Brian Craig. I've been telling you about the...
Welcome, everyone. If you're new, make sure you subscribe.
Tire on both new tires and used tires. One of our listeners, Antonio, went to Friendly Tire and called to share with us his experience of buying used tires at Friendly Tire in Margate.
Good morning, you're on the radio.
Hey, yes, Brian, I want to give you a quick testimonial about the tire place up in Margate, Friendly Tire. Friendly Tire is everything you said it would be, man. I went there and got me some used tires, and when I went there, man, he was very courteous. My whole family's going around, man. Everything you said it was going to be, man. I appreciate you for that, man, and Mike's breakdown, man.
Well, what's your name?
Antonio.
All right, Antonio. Hey, I'm glad we can save you and your family lots of money on tires at Friendly Tire.
Oh, no doubt, man. Thanks so much, man.
Do what Antonio did. Stop into Friendly Tire and find incredible deals on both new and used tires. Give Friendly Mike a call right now. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. And Mike will give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and I'm excited to announce my new product, My Slippers. It took me over 2 years to develop because I didn't want just an ordinary slipper. My slippers are meant to be worn all day long, no matter what you're doing, whether you're inside or outside. My slippers come with an exclusive 3-tier cushioning system that you won't find in any other slipper. It combines 2 layers of foam, including my proprietary My Pillow foam and a patented impact shell made from U.S. soybeans. My 3-tier cushioning system is going to help relieve pressure points, provide that micro support you need for all-day comfort, and help prevent fatigue. Not only that, my slippers are made with high-quality leather and a premium indoor-outdoor sole that makes them extremely durable. I personally honestly guarantee they're going to be the most comfortable slippers you'll ever own.
And right now, save 40% off the MyPillow My Slippers when you use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout at MyPillow.com or call 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWII.
All right, yes. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. You know, the great Mike Lindell from MyPillow, those MyPillow slippers, 40% off with the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. I have those slippers, and I wore them all weekend long. I just took them off right before I left the house, and you can wear them all day long, but it was raining. I didn't want to get them wet this morning. It was rainy when I left the house, but those MyPillow, My Slippers are spectacular. They come in different styles and colors for both men and women. But Mike Lindell was at CPAC in Texas yesterday, and he was talking about everything he's doing to support Trump, support MAGA, how many millions that his company has lost and everything, and these lawsuits that he's dealing with and everything. And he said the best thing you can do, Mike Lindell said this yesterday, he said the best thing you can do to support him is go to MyPillow.com and buy something. And, that's how you help Mike Lindell, because you're helping him keep his workers working, and, of course, you're also supporting the Steve Kane Show when you use the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. So we're talking about this. The liberals are in a panic because the people of Cuba are in the streets with these freedom protests, and this is in Breitbart. Listen to this. Joe Biden's administration responded to protests in Cuba against the communist regime on Sunday by issuing a statement through a minor official commending the protest about rising COVID cases and deaths and medicine shortages. So immediately what Biden has done is define this as not freedom. Who wants freedom from the workers' paradise? These people aren't upset that they don't have freedom, that they don't have enough food to eat. You know, when you watch these protesters, these freedom protesters in Cuba, you know what you will not see among them? You know what you won't see? You won't see an overweight protester. And the reason you won't see an obese Cuban freedom protester is because they don't have enough food down there. And now the liberals might say, look, they don't have an obesity epidemic, but they don't have obesity down there, at least not among the protest people, the regular people, because they don't have enough food to become obese with. But Biden is already defining this. Well, if they only dealt with COVID better. That's not what this is about at all. Okay, they don't have enough food. They don't have freedom. You know, I was listening to the news. They played a clip of Bernie Sanders during the Democrat primary debates this past year, and he was praising Fidel Castro, and he said one of the first things Castro did when he became Presidente was launch a literacy program. That's a good thing, Bernie Sanders said. Well, the first thing he did was take the guns away from everyone, do a purge, execute anyone that he thought might be a threat to him and disagreed with him politically. And after he was done killing everybody, well, he took their guns first, killed a whole bunch of people, imprisoned many more. Then he started this literacy program. And the problem is they may have a higher literacy rate than a lot of other countries, Bernie Sanders, but they can't read the books that they want to read. They have to only read the books that the Communist Party says that they're allowed to read. What an idiot. What a stupid comment to make, Bernie Sanders. On Sunday, this is Breitbart I'm reading from, on Sunday, protests broke out in Havana and several other Cuban cities, during which people chanted freedom and down with the dictatorship while marching against Communist Party institutions. The New York Times noted that while the demonstrations were triggered by food and medicine shortages, they also openly protested against the communist government for the first time in about 30 years. Some activists called it the largest spontaneous popular protest since Fidel Castro took power in 1959, with protesters openly denouncing the regime of Miguel Diaz-Canel. Is that how you say it, or is it Canel? That's the current president. And I'm watching some of these videos in this Breitbart article, which I did tweet. I'm not sure if I have this on Gitter yet. If I don't, I'll try to get it up on Gitter. But these are just amazing. Julie Chung, Acting Assistant Secretary for the United States Department of State's Bureau of Western Hemisphere Affairs, boy, that's a title, said on Twitter that Cubans were exercising their right to peacefully assemble. No, this is so typical of anyone in the Democrats. This Julie Chung, who works at the State Department under Biden, liberal Democrats, she says Cubans were exercising their right to peacefully assemble and protest. They do not have the right to assemble or protest. There is no right to protest in Cuba. To protest means a death sentence, or if you're lucky, 20 years or more in prison. This woman who's in charge of the State Department section on Cuba thinks they have the right in Cuba to assemble? You do not have the right in Cuba to assemble. This is what Julie Chung. Isn't that the host of Big Brother? What's the host of Big Brother on CBS? This was peaceful protester. This is what she said. This is an Assistant Secretary of State under Biden. Peaceful protests are growing in Cuba as the Cuban people exercise their right to peaceful assembly. No right to assemble, peacefully or not. To express concern about rising COVID cases and deaths and medicine shortages. We commend the numerous efforts of the Cuban people mobilizing donations to help neighbors in need. So what the State Department is saying under Biden is, one, they're lying and saying that the people of Cuba have the freedom to assemble. You do not have the freedom to assemble. You don't have the freedom to criticize the government. You do not have the freedom to question the government. She's out of her, I don't know if she's just brainwashed in college or if she's just a propagandist. And the State Department's official statement is send them medicine, masks, PPE, and other things, and everything will be fine back in the workers' paradise. You know, conservatives, MAGA, need to stand up and talk. This is a big deal. Big deal. Not just in Florida. You know, they'll try to frame this as a Florida thing because we have a lot of Cuban exiles in Florida. That is not the case at all. I can't remember the last time we talked about Cuba. You know, Steve and I were heavily involved in the Elian Gonzalez issue. Steve and I went to Elian Gonzalez's house in Little Havana before the Clintons snatched little Elian Gonzalez and sent him back to Cuba. We went down to the house, and it was, it was a terrible thing going on down there. And we had the Democrats under Bill Clinton, with the help of Janet Reno at the time, supporting Castro. And they did. What they did was disgusting. Okay? And here we have it again. And, you know, the reason that Cuba has been a communist country for over half a century is because of the Democrats. You know, Kennedy, man, you know, Kennedy, because, you know, of what happened to Kennedy, he's a Democrat. Oh, Julie Chen is the CBS Big Brother host. Jenny Chung is this left-wing lunatic at Biden's State Department that's praising the communist regime here. But because of Kennedy being a Democrat and how his life ended, he's remembered it in a saintly way, but he was a terrible president. He was a terrible president. And he made a deal with the Soviets and with the Cubans to not do anything to overthrow the communist regime. There had been many attempts prior under Eisenhower to bring down Fidel Castro. And after Bay of Pigs and Cuban Missile Crisis in particular, the Cuban Missile Crisis was a failure by the United States. We lost the Cuban Missile Crisis. I know they've made all these movies and written all these books, and they praise the Cuban Missile Crisis as a great example of what President Kennedy did. The Democrats screwed the people of Cuba in the Cuban Missile Crisis because they made a deal with Cuba and the Soviet Union to leave the communists alone in Cuba and never do anything in regards to regime change. And there's a big secret about Cuba that very few people in this country know. You know what it is? And this goes for the media, don't know this, and probably a lot of you. And it's not because you're you're stupid. It's because they don't tell you this. Do you know what ethnicity is the majority population of Cuba? What do you think? You probably think because you see all these Hispanic people that it's Hispanic. That is not the case. The majority of people in Cuba are black Cubans. That's right. And they're descendants of slaves from the old sugarcane plantations of Cuba from long ago. So this revolution in Cuba is not, it's a lot of things, right? It's a freedom revolution. It's a freedom protest that the Democrats are trying to redefine as something else already. They're trying to make it a PPE COVID protest. Okay? But it's also, it's a civil rights protest because no one has freedom down there, but it's also a issue for blacks because black Cubans are the majority of people. And not only are they the majority in Cuba, they have no place in Cuban government. The reason people think it's a Hispanic Latino country with descendants of Spaniards as the majority is because that's who runs the country. Blacks, you want to talk about systemic racism? They got this lie of systemic racism in America. In Cuba, the blacks that are the majority population of Cuba have no role, no voice in the government down there. Most people don't even know that there are black Cubans. I know. All right, listen, we'll take our break for the bottom of the hour. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. That's right. It's 31 minutes after 6 o'clock in the morning. It is Monday morning. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this when we get back. And there's a lot of other things going on in the news. You're welcome to call in on anything that is recent and relevant in the news right now. We'll keep it open phones light today. There's so much going on. It's hard for me to jump into, there's just a lot going on. No doubt about it. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be back right after this.
1470 FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach. Attention seniors, have you protected you and your family from financial ruin? You are invited to attend Attorney Barry Siegel's free estate planning workshop. Make sure you and your family are properly protected even if you already have a trust. Learn how to avoid losing an inheritance to predators like divorcing spouses, lawsuits, creditors, government agencies, and the IRS. Learn how to prevent running out of money before you run out of life. Learn how to avoid being forced to spend down your assets. Learn how to avoid nursing home seizure of your assets. This free workshop with attorney Barry Siegel is Tuesday, July 20th at 10 a.m. at the South County Civic Center in Delray. Seating is limited, so reserve your seat for this free estate planning workshop. Call now, 1-855-FLA-ESTATE. That's 855-352-3782. 855-352-3782.
Hi, my name is Tom Laporta, the owner of Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Restoration. We have been in the roofing and construction industry since 1982. We are state of Florida certified roofing and general contractors focusing on residential and commercial roofing, impact windows, and building restoration. The 2021 hurricane season is upon us. If you have noticed any water stains on your ceiling, or if your roof is older than 15 years, you will want to call us to come out and evaluate your roof. Our services run from minor repairs to complete new roof systems. We install every kind of roof, from regular asphalt shingles, clay or concrete tiles, standing metal seam, wood shakes, and slate tile systems. Call us at 954-604-4602 for a free home inspection and estimate. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
All right, 34 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show. 1-888-GO-KANE-1 is our number. It's a toll-free call. That's Kane, K-A-N-E, and the number 1. Numerically, 1-888-465-2631. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Yeah, good morning, Brian. How are you?
All right, Richie. What's up, Richie?
Yeah, first of all, my wife's from Venezuela, but her parents are Cuban, and she's got family in Camagüey, Cuba, and the Democrats. First of all, you mentioned that Cuba is mostly black. That didn't happen. That happened after Castro. Castro brought in all his Africa. He was over. He had his tentacles in Africa too.
Well, that's true. He was involved in those wars over there in Africa. What was it, Liberia or something? I can't remember. Not Liberia. Where was I can't remember, but yeah. Yeah.
Island. Matter of fact, it was the only Caucasian island.
Well, regardless of that, already you have Biden supporting the Cuban regime and making this PPE protest, not freedom protest.
Right, I want to get to that.
Yeah, Angola, by the way, yes. Angola is where they were fighting in Africa, yes.
Right on the head. This whole thing is really, this is right in their face. The Socialist Party in Cuba, communism, they call themselves socialists too, by the way. This is the model for Bernie Sanders. And Bernie forgot to tell you is, the school, let's just look at what they're doing in our schools now and look at what
they weren't able to, Jeff.
Schools.
I'm not going to get into it right now, but they were not able to.
In our schools,
Newsmax.
Schools, they were telling the Cuban kids the United States is the worst country in the world. And it was. In other words, we were Yankee imperialists taking over all the whole world.
Yeah, well, that's what they do now in America with critical race theory. They teach our own kids in this country that we're Yankee imperialists.
That's exactly what I'm trying to tell you. Everything that the Cubans have been taught, this is what they're teaching in our schools and in our country about the United States.
Well, I'll tell you, these protests in Cuba yesterday, they are nationwide. They are not just in Havana. They're in small towns throughout the island. And for Biden's people to come out and say, this is a PPE thing and we need to help them down there, these are not COVID protests. They're framing it that way because the Democrats are communist.
They're covering up like they're covering up for Biden. They're covering up for Castro's the regime. They cover up for a lot of things. The media here is just like the media in Cuba. In Cuba, they don't have any media. You got to listen to what the government tells you because they killed all the people in Pullman.
Yeah, where the hell is CNN? CNN has had a bureau down there since the 90s, and they seem more concerned about Branson and his carbon footprint for a space launch than what's going on in Cuba. They don't want to report what's going on down there.
You can get it on YouTube, by the way, too. I saw cell phone videos, all live on YouTube.
Yeah, I was watching a lot of videos out of Cuba, and the ones I found interesting were the ones outside of Havana. People don't understand. This is like Tiananmen Square. Every single person that is out in the streets in Cuba could be killed on the spot without question, and that's the end of it. And they're attacking the cops who were, and they're doing. There was one protest. It was outside of Havana. I can't remember which town they call them cities. I mean, give me a break, cities. They don't have cities down there outside of Havana, but it was. It was outside of Havana, and there was a mass protest in front of the Communist Party offices, chanting freedom. I mean, this has nothing to do with COVID. Nothing.
My wife's uncle spent 20 years, 10 days, and 10 months and 13 days in a communist jail because he refused to sign the communist doctrine. He was a college professor in Havana, and he wouldn't sign it, and they put him in jail for over 20 years.
But see, the Democrats in this country love, when Castro, everybody always knew Castro was a communist. He never hid it. Castro, you'll have a hard time finding this footage. But before he took power, he came to America. By the way, he spoke fluent English, well-educated guy. But when he came to America before he took over, when the revolution was going on, he spoke English. He went on Meet the Press and everything. And the media celebrated Castro. They loved Castro. Even after he took power, they loved Castro.
You know who taught Castro? Communist professors in New York University.
That's right.
That's what's teaching our American children.
That's right. And all these AOC Bernie Sanders types and these people in the media. When I saw the media, even still this morning. Now again, maybe they'll correct this, because maybe they'll understand. But they're calling these anti-government demonstrations in Cuba. It is not a legitimate government. They've been in power since '59 and they haven't had one election.
So I got to ask you this question.
A while. I don't need to tell you how long, but a while.
A while. Have you ever painted your...
Sure.
Have you put new air conditioning in?
Oh, sadly, I've had to do that too. Yes, twice actually since I...
But it's because why? Because of capitalism. Because you've had the money. You want to know something? You want to look at what? Go on YouTube, folks. Take a look at what Cuba looks like today. And they got it. By the way, there's a video from early 1950 when everything was maintained.
Oh, it was beautiful then. Yeah. All right, Richie. Take care. Obviously, I've never been to Cuba, but I've been off the coast and flown over it many times. And in fact, I remember on our last Steve Kane cruise, I was on deck with my daughter. I took my daughter up on deck when we were sailing past Cuba, and we were very close. You could see, and Cuba's a huge island, and we sailed by Cuba for a long time. And if you go to my YouTube video on our last Steve Kane cruise, you'll see this part of it. But we were sailing along Cuba for the longest time, and you know what I didn't see as we were going down here? You know what I didn't see the whole time? Middle of the day. You know what I didn't see? I didn't see a building. Here, you see this terrible accident, the Surfside building. You go down the American beaches, as far as you can see, there's buildings and high-rises. If there's not a high-rise, there's homes along the beach. In Cuba, there's nothing along the beach. There's no development down there. And I've flown over Cuba many times because, if you fly, down in parts of the Caribbean, you're going to fly over Cuba. And people don't realize how big Cuba is, I think, unless you're here in Florida and you realize, it's a massive island. And whenever I've flown over Cuba, even if it's at night, I always look out the window. And you fly over at night, you don't see any lights. There's no lights down there. And you fly over during the day and it's just green. There's nothing. I had dinner with this guy once who was he was from the UK and he was an actor and he was in a couple of the Star Wars movies, the prequels that they made. He was an actor that played one of the guys from the Trade Federation that took over Naboo. And this guy, he lived Castro. We were here in Miami, and he was talking about, Cuba and Castro, and he had recently gone to Cuba, and he spent a couple weeks in Cuba. I don't remember why. It's been a long time, but he was just praising the system down there and everything. And he told us this story. It was such a joke. This is when Castro was still alive, and Castro was giving a speech somewhere. It wasn't in Havana. It was hours away by car, and he hired a driver because he wanted to go see Castro speak. He's like, when am I going to get a chance to do that? He was praising Castro, praising the regime, and he didn't make it to the speech because he hired a car, but they couldn't get enough gas to make it to where the speech was. That's how bad it is down there. But even though they couldn't get enough gas to make it there because of the system, he was still praising it. Well, follow this in the news this week, and in particular, follow, there's all this talk. You hear conservatives all the time say that Democrats are communist. Castro called himself a socialist. So you hear us all the time accusing the left of being socialist, of being communist. And they always deny, oh no, we're not communist, we're not socialist, we're democratic socialist. Well, what is democratic socialism? And how does it differ from socialism? There's no such thing, okay, as democratic socialism. The whole thing's a lie. But if you have any doubt in your mind that the left are communist, okay, if you're not sure, if you have any doubt, if you don't believe it, watch how they react to these freedom protests going on in Cuba. They will not be supportive of them. They're going to redefine them, as they've already done, as COVID protest. And for the Biden administration to say, well, they're exercising their right to peacefully assemble, They do not have the right to assemble in any way in Cuba. Watch how they make excuses. Watch how they try to redefine it. Because Cuba is the Democrats' last best hope. It's the workers' paradise. It's what they're trying to bring here. They're trying to turn us into Cuba. And you know what? I'm not so sure they're not going to be successful the way things are going these days. All right, let's take our last break of the first hour. Our number is toll-free 1-888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. We'll be right back after this.
Brian Craig here. I've been telling you for years how great MyPillow products are. But don't just take my word for it. This is one of our listeners, Todd. He bought the MyPillow mattress topper, and he called us live on the radio to tell us about his experience with the MyPillow mattress topper.
Yeah, I'm calling you testimonial about my pillow topper.
You ordered the MyPillow, the mattress topper?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Well, I was thinking about buying a new mattress. My old mattress was getting old, so my wife's like, why don't you try that pillow, that mattress top? So I went on, I used your promo code CANE, I got a great price. Got it home, and I've been using it for the last 3 nights. It's fantastic.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's like a whole new mattress.
I talked to other listeners with the MyPillow
Yeah,
mattress
Starbucks was
topper,
open.
and they come in all sizes. The mattress companies have turned in the
Starbucks gives you free water. This is Starbucks water.
Two-sided. You'd have the mattress, then after a while you'd flip it over. Now you can't flip mattresses anymore. They don't make them that way anymore because people weren't buying mattresses enough. So the mattress companies stopped making two-sided mattresses. And mattresses are expensive. I've had to buy a new mattress, and mattresses can cost well over, just for a regular normal mattress, over $1,000. So that MyPillow mattress topper is a big savings. It saves you from buying a new mattress and turn your whole bed into a MyPillow.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I really love it. I sleep really good.
Well, that's great. Well, I appreciate that. You guys out there, remember, promo code CANE, K-A-N-E.
The counter's cleaner? Well, we have a cleaning crew. They come in a few times a week.
30% off your MyPillow mattress topper. And receive 2 free MyPillows. But you got to use the promo code CANE, K-A-N-E. 30% off the MyPillow mattress topper. Turn your old mattress into a big MyPillow mattress. Promo code CANE, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com.
My coffee wasn't $6. This coffee was $3.
B12 injections promote weight loss, increase energy, reduce stress, promote healthy skin, improve sleep, increase metabolism, fight heart disease, improve memory, and improve mood. B12 injections at any lab test now of Boca Raton, like their lab test, are priced low. 5 injections for just $69. Other places in town charge $349 for 3 injections, so that is a huge savings. Any lab test now of Boca Raton is located at 23016 Sandalfoot Plaza on the east side of 441, just a few doors down from Western Beef. If you have any questions, call 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. Any lab tests now of Boca Raton. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on The Steve Kane Show.
Listen to The Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
Alrighty. Oh my goodness. Welcome back. I'm Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Apparently we've got some conservatives in our chat room that don't support the capitalist society. I'm getting grief again for drinking Starbucks coffee in the morning. Someone said, make your own coffee for 50 cents. The reason I get Starbucks coffee in the morning is varied. 1, when I drive in early in the morning, there is no place along the way where I can get coffee that has the caffeine content of the Starbucks. Okay? The Starbucks I get in the morning has 4 shots of espresso in it, and sometimes I get an extra shot. Okay? I cannot get I get coffee not because I enjoy coffee. I don't get coffee because I like the way it tastes. I get it for the caffeine so that I can be wide awake while I'm broadcasting to tens of thousands of people. And Dunkin' Donuts, oh yeah, they're opened up. That's coffee-flavored water. Oh yeah, McDonald's, they don't have this kind of caffeine content. So I get at Starbucks, I order the same thing. I get the Venti Hot Blonde Americano, okay? Venti is the largest, the tall cup, and comes with 4 shots of espresso. And Blonde, the lighter roast, also has higher caffeine content than you get elsewhere, okay? So if there was a place on my way in, at the hour that I have to drive into work, where I could get coffee with that kind of caffeine content, please let me know. Now, some say make your coffee for 50 cents at home. You cannot make coffee with that much caffeine in it for 50 cents at home, okay? I used to make my own coffee at home. Not enough caffeine, people. Okay, not enough caffeine. You guys sound like the Cubans down there in Cuba, the Cuban government. You can't drink the coffee you want to drink. You must drink our approved coffee. My goodness. My goodness. If you're on hold, stand by. I'll get to the phones in a moment. I had one of those Nespresso machines, okay? Where you can make the espresso at home. I couldn't believe how much the pods cost. It cost over $5. If I were to make a cup of coffee with an espresso, with 4 shots of espresso, and sometimes, by the way, I get an extra shot, 5 shots of espresso, depending on how awake I am that morning. But if I just got the regular with an espresso machine, with 4 shots, that would be a $20 cup of coffee at home. You can, so yeah, it's expensive stuff, people. To get so my coffee costs just over $3 every day. Okay, $3.47. There's tax on it. That's how much it costs me. And once a week, because I go there so much, I build up rewards points with Starbucks. I get a free cup about once a week. So my coffee is about $3 a day. That's what I spend. Okay, and I do it because of the coffee, or the caffeine content in the coffee. You guys who are sitting on the toilet, half of you listening to me because it's morning drive, easy for you to say. You get up at 3 in the morning, you get on the radio and be filled with energy like this on coffee-flavored water that you get at Dunkin' Donuts, all right? Gee whiz, people. Gee whiz, I thought this was a free country. I need to have a free coffee movement here in this country. All right, let's go to the phones. We're talking about the new Cuban revolution for freedom taking place right now. Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name? Good morning.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hey, my name is Jay. How are you?
All right, Jay, what's up?
Not much. I've just been listening to your comments about Cuba. As a combat veteran and somebody who's been around, seeing what liberalism has done to this country, it is absolutely appalling. And honestly, I'm surprised what's happening in Cuba now hasn't happened a lot sooner.
Well, the reason you haven't seen this happen sooner is because, when the Castros were alive and running the place, they were charismatic figures that people were terrorized of. Now, the new president of Cuba, I got to look, I don't even remember his name, Carmel or something. He doesn't have that, that Castro fear into everybody. So things are a little weaker right now down there. That's part of the reason. Even though Biden says they're just exercising their right to assemble. They don't have the right to assemble in Cuba, Biden. Wake up.
Yeah, well,
the jerk.
I know. It's, a lot of better men than me have given everything for the free.
What branch of the service were you in?
United States Army.
You're in the Army. It was an interesting thing. I saw a guy on Fox yesterday talking about, they're teaching critical race theory at the Air Force Academy, and they're bringing it into the military as a whole. And I saw a guy on Fox yesterday when I was waiting for Trump at CPAC, and he made a very good point about the dangers of teaching our military critical race theory. He says, how can you expect the people in the military to fight for this country when they're being indoctrinated into this idea that America is a flawed nation? Why should they go out and risk their lives and fight for a flawed nation that critical race theory is telling them that it is? I thought that was a pretty sharp point.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was in the military. I enlisted almost immediately after September 11th.
Oh, yeah.
When I went into the Army, there was no such thing as racism as it is known in modern terminology. And what I mean is, you can't have 12, 13 guys in a hole in the desert, so to speak, and you're entrusting the man to your left and right. Hey, I'm going to go take that hill, so to speak. Cover me with a machine gun. You either trust somebody or you don't. If you don't trust them enough to trust them with your life,
Yeah.
That ideology is kind of drilled into you from the moment you get off the bus at the Marine Corps Recruit Depot.
Well, that's changing these days. That's changing these days because, we've got this new Secretary of Defense that's bringing critical race theory as a primary point in training of all new military personnel of all ranks. They're being indoctrinated into this woke critical race theory in the service. Hey, listen, thanks for the call. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's true. That's sad reality going on here. But the left have always been racial dividers. This caller, he enlisted in the Army after 9/11. 9/11, there was a brief moment of unity in this country after 9/11. Not right away. Immediately when 9/11 happened, Democrats like Bill Clinton, Mario Cuomo, who was still around, Fredo's dad, and others, they started to blame us for the terror attacks. They started talking about, well, poverty in the Middle East is what made this happen. And we got to ask ourselves, what did we do to drive them to such a desperate act? And they stopped that after a couple days because there was blowback. But there was major unity in America briefly after 9/11. And then, there was a moment, it didn't last very long, but the Democrats injected race. At ground zero, they did two things at ground zero. There was a protest march in the rubble by black firefighters who felt that black firefighters were not giving the proper credit for those that had died that day. And they marched, the black firefighters in firefighter outfits and flags marched in protest at ground zero while the cleanup was still going on. And they ran them off. It lasted about 2 minutes. If you blinked, you missed it. And then there was a 9/11 sculpture made of the moment when the firefighters raised the American flag at ground zero on the rubble. Do you remember this? And the Democrats came out and said that the statue was racist because everybody in the statue was white and there were no African American firefighters. They started that thing again. And they ran into some problems because the sculpture represented an actual event that happened, and the sculpture was made based on the real firefighters who did it. So the Democrats, no matter what happens, even 9/11, they always inject race and racial division into everything. That's what the Democrats do. Now we're coming up on our top of the hour break. When we get back, I want to talk about President Trump's CPAC speech yesterday, which I did watch. And he said some amazing things, which we're going to talk about. We'll take more of your calls. I want to hear more of your thoughts on what's going on in Cuba and how the left-wing socialist media and this incompetent administration are defending the Cuban communist regime. If they just had more PPE down there, if they would have handled their COVID response like Governor Newsom and Fredo's brother in New York, they wouldn't be out there. These are not COVID protests. Oh my goodness. Our number is toll-free from anywhere, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. 888-465-2631. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We are live on the radio from 6 until 9 a.m. Monday through Friday, with overnight rebroadcast midnight till 6 a.m. 7 nights a week. We take calls live on the air. The calls we take are screenless, as you can tell by the quality of the calls on occasion. I just answer the phones, boom, right on the air. We do not have a phone screener, okay? And not that we don't have the ability to have one. We do have someone here. We just don't use them for that purpose. It makes the show more interesting for a number of reasons that I've explained many times. So we'll take our break, come back with the second hour after this, all right? My name is Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show. We'll be back right after this. Don't go anywhere.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Hi guys, it's Dr. Matez. Now that I've joined the Biostation West Delray, we're not just about making you feel good, we're all about making you look good too. Our practitioners are well trained and experienced in the use of Botox, fillers, platelet-rich plasma, microneedling lasers, as well as any modality out there. We even have a Miami plastic surgeon available for the big jobs. We can now make you look good to match the way we make you feel. So if you want to feel good and look good, call us at the Biostation West Delray at 561-320-8893. That's 561-320-8893. And for a limited time only, if you're a Steve Kane listener, 10% off all cosmetic services. And if you happen to be a Steve Kane cruiser, we're going to give you another 10%. That's 20% off all cosmetic services leading up to the Steve Kane cruise.
Attention seniors and those who care about them. This is Brian Craig. I'm in studio with Debbie from I Will Advisors. She has an incredible new service to tell you about called I Will Advocates. Debbie, what is I Will Advocates and how are you helping seniors?
Well, Brian, over the past few years of owning a Medicare insurance agency, we've learned that there's a huge need for Medicare advocacy, that a lot of people don't have a child or a spouse that can assist them with their medical needs, and that's where we step in.
There's a lot of things that seniors need help with. Prescriptions, doctor's appointments, things like this. How do you help them with that?
If you're having a problem at the doctor's office, having problems scheduling an appointment in a timely manner, we can step in. If you're having issues at the pharmacy, having problems refilling a prescription or feel that you're being mischarged for something, you can contact us and we will step in. Even if you're at the hospital and you feel like you're being neglected, we'll be there for you at a touch of a button, whether it's to call the nurse's station or assist in any other way.
So if someone's in the hospital, they feel they're not getting the care that they need, they haven't seen their doctor, they haven't seen their nurse, they can actually call you and you'll contact the hospital for them?
Absolutely. We act as your family. We'll step up, we'll call the nurse's station and ask for some assistance. If we can't get anything done there, we'll go to the higher levels.
Now, this is a service that you're offering. Now, they do not have to be an existing client of I Will Advisors to take advantage of this, right?
Oh, of course not. No, we're here for any Medicare client. We can assist in any way. We don't need to be your insurance agent. We're just here to help you with your medical needs.
This is an incredible opportunity for those of you who are Medicare recipients. Debbie at I Will Advocates will help you with your prescriptions. You'll set up doctor's appointments for them, including the primary care physician and specialist, right?
Of course. We'll assist in anything helping you find new doctors.
They'll help you with your medical billing. They'll help you with your insurance billing. If you feel you've been billed wrong by your doctor, they'll step in for that and even help you if you're in the hospital. Basically, what you're offering is a concierge service to senior citizens.
That's exactly it.
That's amazing. I've never heard of anything like this before. So how much does this cost?
Well, for just $20 a month, you will have the security of knowing that you have an experienced, compassionate advocate just a touch of a button away.
To learn more, call Debbie's office.
How about I buy any freaking coffee I want to buy, and if you don't like my coffee that I drink, you can kiss my ass. How about that? How about that? Because I just saw someone, you can do this, you can buy that. Do I tell you what to drink? Do I tell you what to consume? My goodness. You guys sound like communists. Telling people what food they're allowed to consume? How about that? Coffee pods are a scam. There's no caffeine in a damn coffee pod. You know? So go to hell. Drink whatever you want to drink. My goodness.
Learn how to avoid being forced to spend down your assets. Learn how to avoid nursing home seizure of your assets. This free workshop with attorney Barry Siegel is Tuesday, July 20th at 10 a.m. at the South County Civic Center in Delray. Seating is limited, so reserve your seat for this free estate planning workshop. Call now, 1-855-FLA-ESTATE. That's 855-352-3782. 855-352-3782.
It's Americano. It's venti, hot blonde Americano. This is a grande today. It's a little smaller.
The Steve Kane Show. To call the show,
I didn't get the venti today. I got the grande.
888-GO-GAIN-1. That's 1-888-GO-GAIN-1. And now,
All right. Hour number 2 has begun. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. On the radio since 1977. We'll go back to the phones. Been talking about this freedom revolution taking place right now in Cuba. And, of course, we'll get into President Trump's historic speech at CPAC as well. And back to our phones at 1-888-GO-KANE-1. Good morning. You're on the radio. Yes, you're on the air. What's your name?
Hey, my name is Alex. I'm a Cuban. And why do the democratic socialists believe that what's happening in Cuba is because of PPE or the embargo?
Because the Democrats are communist. They support the communist regime. They call it the workers' paradise. That's why.
Yeah, but they beat the snot out of people. That's what they should see. They're beating people to death out there, locking people up for.
You know, I don't know. You may be seeing more of this than I am, but I was very impressed with the Cubans, and I'm so glad that these freedom protests are taking place outside of Havana too, in towns throughout the island. I saw citizens down there attacking the cops in Cuba. You know, this is the one instance where you'll see the Democrats support cops. I'm already hearing them. Look at them. They're attacking the police. Well, it's only Antifa can attack the police. I've never seen people stand up like this, like they're doing right now in Cuba. This is the beginning of the end for the communists down there.
Hopefully.
Well, the Democrats appreciate it. The Democrats have always been communist. Not only have they always been praising Cuba and Castro and the communist regime down there, okay, but do you know the Democrats, the Roosevelt Democrats, prior to the, something happened, but there was a moment in time when Franklin Roosevelt and the Democrats in this country were opposed to U.S. intervention in Europe in the Second World War. Something happened. Do you know what happened that turned the Democrats against Hitler? Do you know what happened? Because the Democrats, they said, oh, that's a European conflict. It's got nothing to do with us. They would even praise Hitler. In fact, if you read Dinesh D'Souza's books, he writes quite a bit about this. The Democrats brought Nazis and Italian fascists to the United States, obviously prior to our involvement in the war, but brought them and gave them tours of America, celebrated them in New York City, and then Hitler did something. Do you know what Hitler did that turned the Democrats? This is a true story. What did Hitler do? I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to troll for calls. I hate when people do that. They kill time on the radio on this. I enjoy taking calls, but I don't like trolling for calls for things so simple. The Democrats in the United States have always been communists, just like they are now, okay? They did not want us to get involved with anything Hitler was doing until Hitler did one thing. Do you know what he did? Operation Barbarossa. He attacked the Soviet Union. And when he attacked the Soviet Union, the Democrats in this country says, Chancellor Hitler, you've gone too far now. And that's when Roosevelt and all the rest turned against Hitler. When he attacked the Soviet Union, because that's their communist, that's the workers' paradise. That is true, by the way, what I just told you. And what they hated the most about President Reagan wasn't that it wasn't just generic anti-Republican hate like they always have. They always hate Republicans. But what they didn't like about President Reagan was, this was before Pearl Harbor. It was 1940, okay? He attacked the Soviet Union in 1940. That's when the Democrats turned against Hitler. But what they hated about Ronald Reagan is that he took on the Soviet Union. When Ronald Reagan said, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall, do you know the Democrats started talking about impeaching President Reagan? Because he said, tear down this wall? They talked about how inappropriate it was for him to go there and do that. That's right. And those of you that were around not that long ago, when the Elian Gonzalez business was going on, right, in the late 90s, we were very involved in that. We had the fisherman here on the Steve Kane Show. Donato Del Rimple was the guy that pulled Elian Gonzalez out of the ocean. You know, we had him on the show many times. You know, and Steve and I went to the house down there where Elian Gonzalez was staying with his family before Clinton, the one that Clinton sent the federal agents in and pulled him out of the closet with the guns pointed at the little kid, little Elian, you know. And yeah, I know, we went down there, and it was a mess, and it was a real, you know, it was a real awakening. It was a real awakening to see the Democrats nationwide, CNN, members of Congress, all the actors and everything, they all wanted to send little Elian back to Cuba. And it was a very important time because the Democrats in this country started, because the Elian Gonzalez issue it was a global issue, but it was a U.S. issue, national news story for, I don't remember how long. It seemed like it went on for like a year. It went on for a long time. It was a big deal. Chris Matthews was doing his show live from the University of Miami all the time. It was a huge deal. And the Democrats came out of the closet as communists. They were calling in, and they were on every talk show praising Castro and communism and talking about how great it was down there, the workers' paradise. And that's why when Michael Moore made one of his movies, he did a whole section of his movie took place in Cuba talking about the great medical system down there. Remember that crap? You know? So the left, they love communism. They're in a major conflict. And when you see them this week, okay, when you see them this week, you'll see them slip like the Bidens already have. Okay? So I saw President Trump's CPAC speech yesterday, which was, as all Trump speeches, absolutely amazing. And he said a lot of things. And at the end, there are two things. President Trump is running in 2024, and he said two things, one in the speech and one earlier, that he all but said it. Okay, he did an interview with Maria Bartiromo on Fox earlier in the day, and then in the CPAC speech. And at the end of the CPAC speech, he said, we're going to take back the beautiful White House in 2024. He said that. And it's him. And earlier when he was on, did you guys catch the interview that Maria Bartiromo did with President Trump? She asked him what everybody asks him. You know, she said, I know you have said that you already know the answer. Are you running? And he said, and President Trump said, I already know my answer, but I can't answer it because once I do, campaign finance comes into play. That's him saying I'm running. And I was telling you about this last week and the week before on the program. The moment he says I'm running, all of his finances involve campaign finance rules and regulations. Right now, because he's not officially running, he hasn't said he's running, and he hasn't officially announced, he doesn't have to abide by all of that. Okay, but what he told Maria Bartiromo yesterday, well, I do know my answer, but if I give you my answer, campaign finance rules and laws kick in. That's him saying, I'm running in 2024. And he ended the, I think he almost said it at the end of the CPAC speech. I think when he was at the end of his speech at CPAC in Texas yesterday, I think President Trump was thinking to himself, why don't I just make the announcement right now? It was like on the tip of his tongue. You know? It really, truly was. You could tell when he was saying it. You know? But he said, we're going to take back the White House in 2024. And he did not mean with Ron DeSantis. Maybe he'll be the vice president. I love Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis has already come out in favor of the Cuban people with what's going on down there. He meant with himself, and you could tell. So it's a pretty exciting time, I must tell you. Now, I waited a couple weeks to tell you about this because I wanted to be able to give you a full report. But a few weeks back, my wife was having some issues. She went to the doctor and told her that he says, you know what, your symptoms, you've got some kind of allergies. You need to have allergy testing done. So my wife went to any lab test now of Boca and had allergy testing done. Now, have you ever had allergy testing done at the allergist? It is medieval, people. You know, when you go to an allergist for allergy testing, they stick you about 90 times with needles, right? Have you ever had this done? Oh my goodness. Sometimes they do it on your back, sometimes they do it on your arms. My daughter went for it once. They did it on her back and her arm. I couldn't believe it. It's so medieval. So medieval. And then it's just guesswork. They look, and by the way your skin reacts, they say, oh, allergic, not allergic, and it's guesswork. At any lab test now of Boca and any lab test now of Coral Springs, my wife went in there. Now, they do complete allergy testing for both food and environmental allergies. My wife had the whole panel done for food and environmental allergies. It's done with one single blood draw, just like you're getting a regular blood test. That's it. You know, like a regular, not stuck 90 plus times all over the back and the arms. Just one blood draw. They test for everything. And she found out some things that she was allergic to that she had no idea that she was allergic to that we're eating all the time. She got the results back a couple weeks back. She changed her diet based on some food allergies she found out she had from the allergy testing at any lab test now of Boca. It's been a couple weeks and boom, gone. Totally improved. It's absolutely amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I was waiting to tell you guys about it because I wanted to see what the results were, and they have been phenomenal. So there's lots of any lab test nows around, but only 2 advertising on the Steve Kane Show. Any lab test now of Boca, that's where my wife went for her allergy testing, which is located on 441 State Road 7, south of Palmetto, north of Hillsborough, on the east side of State Road 7, in the shopping center where the Western Beef is. Their number is 561-237-5009. Any lab test now at Coral Springs? It's the same owner for both locations, so both locations are advertising here with us on the Steve Kane Show. They do all the same testing, great deals. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood over by the Coral Square Mall, and their number, 954-906-5983. That allergy testing they do is just, the results have been phenomenal. So we'll finish up the break and be right back. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this. Checked the temperature this morning before I left. The high today is going to be almost 90 degrees here in South Florida. The hot weather, it's already here, and it's only going to get hotter. On the line from Cut My Kilowatts, we have Scott from Cut My Kilowatts. He's going to tell you how he can save you big money on your electric bill.
We're facing the onslaught of summer here, and a lot of people are going to be noticing that, if they haven't noticed already, that their air conditioner is just running non-stop, fighting to keep the house cool. A lot of times the air conditioner can't even keep up with the heat gain. You know, like, you'll have the temperature set in your house at 74, and you'll look at the thermostat, it'll be at 76 or 77 or even 78.
Yeah.
Even as high as 80. So what we do is cutmykilowatts.com, and we've been doing radiant barrier in South Florida for 10 years. I mean, we did Steve Kane's house probably 10 years ago when I first started doing this in South Florida. Radiant barrier stops the heat gain in the house, lowers the temperature in the attic 30 to 40 degrees, literally cuts the AC runtime in half, and get a lot of money.
Let's explain to people what radiant barrier is. We have known Scott from Cut My Kilowatts for well over a decade. He's with us every summer here on the Steve Kane Show. In the heat of the summer, the attic, how hot does an attic get during the summer, Scott?
It can get, depending on what kind of roof it has, whether it's shingle or tile, shingle being the hottest, 140, 150, you even see 160 degrees.
Yeah, and what that does is that 150, 160 degree heat in your attic makes your ceiling hot, and of course your air conditioning ducts are in your ceiling. It heats them up, and it makes your air conditioner work longer, harder, causing your electric bill going up, struggling to keep your house cool. So Scott has the radiant barrier. So tell people what radiant barrier is and how it works.
Radiant barrier is like a big aluminum foil tarp. It goes on the underside of the roof deck below the trusses, so there's an air gap so it doesn't damage the roof. And it basically just turns the heat wave that comes down off the roof around and pushes it back up out the roof. So it makes your roof function like a white shingle reflective roof. You know, you see those white roofs on people's houses. They put them on because it cuts their electric bill 25-30%. Same thing with radiant barrier. You put it in on the underside of your roof deck. You know, it's like $1 a square foot, and we like the complete job in your attic, whatever you need up in your attic. Insulation, ductwork, radiant barrier, we can do the whole package.
Now listen,
We do that for a lot of people.
it's getting hot today. It's going to be about 88, 89 degrees here in South Florida. We're not in the hottest heat of the summer yet. We will be soon. And because of that, Scott, he's offering a great discount before it gets super, super hot, because as it gets hotter and hotter, it's more difficult for his crew to work in the attic. Now, it's not quite as hot. They can get the work done faster, can spend more time in the attic. I want to give you Scott from Cut My Kilowatts. I'm going to give you his website and his number. If you miss this, it's listed at stevekaneshow.com. First, you can give Scott a call at 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500. Online, cutmykilowatts.com. And again, listed at stevekaneshow.com. Scott will save you money on your electric bill this and every summer. All right, Scott from Cut My Kilowatts, have a great day. We will talk later in the week.
Listen to The Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, we are back 20 minutes after 7. I'm Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's the longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. Welcome back. Our number 1-888-GO-CANE-1. Okay, so we're talking about this freedom revolution going on in Cuba, the Democrats, the media, in a complete panic as the workers' paradise cries for freedom. And listen to this. This is in the Daily Mail. Cubans are ready to rule themselves without tyranny. Miami mayor leads call for U.S. intervention in Cuba as thousands take to the streets of communist dictatorship. See, what you're going to find, and we're already seeing this, you know what the Biden response is going to be to this protest? They're going to send by ship or by cargo plane, they're going to send COVID supplies, is what they're going to do. They're going to send vaccines, they're going to send PPE and other things. What Biden is going to do is continue to frame this as COVID protest and help the Cuban communist regime maintain their power down there. They're not going to give aid to the protesters. They're not going to give aid to the citizens. They're going to give aid to the communist regime. You can already see based on what they're saying. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name?
Brian.
All right, Andrea. What's up?
I love this revolt going on in Cuba. I love the revolt. I think that these people have suffered at the hands of their government enough. And I actually think that you're going to see it in many, many other communist-run countries.
Well, see, the reason it's important because it's a massive country off our shore, but the Democrats in this country, AOC, Kamala, and all the rest, want to bring that system to America.
Of course they do. Do you know why? Because they waited until they got into political power where they will not be touched by the ideology of communism.
Well, it's going to be very interesting. When they have the White House press briefing today with Jen Psaki, Ducey will probably be the only one that asks about this. But he will, I'm assuming Peter Ducey is going to ask Psaki about this freedom revolution, these freedom protests down there. And I cannot wait to hear her answer. She's going to dance all over this.
I think you're correct. I think Joe Biden is going to side with the communist regime.
Well, they already have. They already have. The State Department released a statement saying that the Cuban people are exercising their right to peacefully assemble. You do not have the right to peacefully assemble in Cuba. You have no civil rights. None.
You mark my words. This is going to be a movement. You're going to see this constantly now from these communist-run countries. People are tired of suffering at the hands of their government.
Well, see, this is going to be an interesting thing, okay? Because the Democrats right now, AOC, Biden, and all the rest, okay, they have been promoting this Democrat socialism crap, right? These last couple years, and they cannot criticize the Cuban government because if you're a democratic socialist, how can you criticize the communist government down there? They cannot support the protesters down there.
Well, that's because in communist-run countries, politicians and their allies do not suffer like the people that they impose the socialism on.
Well, I give you an example. Yesterday, Branson took this stupid space launch for nothing. What a lunatic. You know, I mean, I guess they got together at their Billionaires summer camp and got drunk, and they started this billionaire space race. But look what happened. Bernie Sanders, he didn't release a statement. He's had nothing to say about the Cuban revolution that's going on right now, the freedom revolution. But he criticized Branson for the space launch, and he has too much money to blow to do something like this. We need to tax billionaires. And I took note that he skipped over millionaires because he's a millionaire, multimillionaire, Bernie Sanders. Yeah.
Exactly. He stopped chanting that as soon as he got, his third house.
Is it only 3 houses? I thought, how many houses does that include his summer camp?
I think he has 4 or 5 houses.
I thought it was 4 or 5 houses too, Bernie Sanders. I could be wrong. I only have 1 house. I summer and winter in the same place. Bernie Sanders has, like every good. And it was an interesting thing. Brian Stelter on CNN was attacking Branson, which I was very surprised about. And Brian Stelter's issue was concern over the environmental impact in this age of global warming for the space shot. It's just very bizarre.
Any problems when, I guess it was, the 40 of them flew into the boot camp on their private jets. That was okay.
Yeah.
The hypocrisy is it's just staggering. It's just staggering.
Yeah.
I think what these people in Cuba are doing is they're tired of tyranny, and they're going to end. I truly think the people are going to win. And when Cuba wins, you watch all of them.
See, this thing in Cuba is, people don't realize, I'm about 2 days ahead of the rest of the conservatives on this, okay? And since Rush Limbaugh isn't around, and they got these never-Trumpers taking over for Rush that have a very simplistic view on everything, they don't understand the significance of this. This Cuban freedom revolution that's going on is a great opportunity for the MAGA movement and for Trump, because this is, ask these Democrats to criticize the communist government down there, and they will not do it. And we really, truly will have an opportunity to expose them for what they are, the liberals.
Exactly. Well, Brian, they're doing it themselves. And that's while it's a painful process for our country, it's a beautiful thing, because now we see all of our politicians for exactly who they are.
Did you see Trump at CPAC yesterday?
He looks fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I watched it. I thought he sounded great. I thought his message was great. And I didn't realize that they decided this was the second CPAC this year that they decided to.
CPAC is this thing with CPAC yesterday is an interesting thing. CPAC typically is a once-a-year event. They usually do it like in Maryland near D.C., and they couldn't do it up there because of COVID restrictions. They did it in Florida. I guess it was March or something, and they've done 2. They usually just do 1 a year. They've done 2 this year already, and notice where they did them. They took them out of the D.C. area, 1 in Florida and 1 in Texas, and that's not by accident. But I got a message from somebody on Twitter, and while I did watch the speech, they told me President Trump said something that I didn't hear. Now, I might have gone in the kitchen for a drink when he said this part, but someone messaged me on Twitter and said that, and if anybody heard this, let me know. Maybe you heard it. And if you did, let me know, that he referred to Melania as our future First Lady? Yeah. Did he say that?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
Hey?
Yeah.
But I would like to see the interview that Lawrence Jones did with President Trump. Maria Bartiromo always does really well with him, but Lawrence Jones got a hold of him, and he's the libertarian.
Oh, the black guy? Okay, now this thing here, okay, I saw him yesterday. He's the black guy that they're just, propping up at Fox News like he's the second coming. I mean, you know, he seems all right. I don't got a problem with the guy. But I saw him yesterday talking about his Trump interview, and I didn't, it was very strange. Now, I do have that Fox app now because they've got given these free offers, you know. You got this, like if you use CPAC, you got a free month of that Fox News thing, you know. And I've not seen the Trump interview he did yet. But he had not done the interview yet. He interviewed him right before Trump came out to give the speech. And he told them on Fox, he said, it's not about my opinions. I hold everybody accountable. So he before the interview, he established that I guess he was going to give Trump grief. I've not seen that interview. So if anyone has seen that interview, I'm curious to see what angle he took.
I haven't seen the interview, but I have seen him do other interviews, and I will say this, much like Peter Doocy, he holds all of their feet to the fire.
Well, when they did the straw poll yesterday at CPAC, 70% said Trump. Right, who are these 30%? And what are they doing?
With 30% DeSantis, 1% Ted Cruz, and 1%, I forget who the other person was.
Well, when they did it without Trump, and DeSantis won. When they did it with Trump, he got 70% in the straw poll. You know, now listen, it's America, okay? But what's going on when we have 30% of Republicans at CPAC saying they don't want Trump in 2024? I love Ron DeSantis. He's my governor. I love Ron DeSantis. His time is 2028. He can be Trump's VP this time around. We got a short list. It's either going to be Kristi Noem, who Trump talked about a lot yesterday. Ron DeSantis, you know, is on the list. But I'm not too happy that we got 30% of people wanting someone other than Trump at CPAC. I don't like that at all. And it's just a straw poll, but I still don't like it.
See, I read that the other way. I read that as if Trump wasn't an option, who would be our pick?
No, they did two polls. No. They did one poll without Trump being in it, and then they did one with all the candidates, including Trump. Okay? And the one without Trump, Ron DeSantis won. The one with Trump, Trump got 70%. DeSantis got like 27 or 28% or something. So, I mean, I don't know who these 30% are that don't want Trump to be our nominee in 2028. But that's what the poll said, you know. Never Trumpers at CPAC. Watch out for them.
I want you to kind of pay attention to today. So Trump was on last night. Let's see how unhinged your liberal callers are today.
Well, you know, the liberals got a lot of problems. It's the summer of Trump. He's back all over the place, and he's got a couple rallies coming up. They're not officially announced yet as to where, but I'm hearing Georgia, maybe Alabama, I'm not sure, but he's got two rallies he's coming up. They've not been officially announced yet, and the communists are falling in Cuba. So this is, you know, the Democrats are having, they're in a state of anxiety right now between that. Hey, listen, Andrea, thanks for the call. Good morning, you're on the radio. Good morning, call. Yeah, you're on the air. What's your name? Hey, Angie, what's up?
Well, I'm a little off track here, but I just wanted to raise awareness.
No, you got to be on topic. It's not open phones. I'm sorry. 33 minutes after the hour. We'll take our break for the bottom. We'll come back. There's much more to talk about. Don't go anywhere. I'm Brian. You are listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977. Our number toll-free from anywhere, 1-888-GO-KANE1. We'll be right back.
Attention seniors, have you protected you and your family from financial ruin?
Steve Kane Show.
You're invited to attend attorney Barry Siegel's free estate planning workshop.
Yeah, because you're off topic. Yeah.
Your family are properly protected, even if you already have a trust. Learn how to avoid losing an inheritance to predators like divorcing spouses, lawsuits, creditors, government agencies, and the IRS. Learn how to prevent running out of money before you run out of life. Learn how to avoid being forced to spend down your assets. Learn how to avoid nursing home seizure of your assets.
I don't know how much the grande is. I got it today because they did not have any venti cups, and I don't really pay attention to how much it is. It's not that big of a difference.
So reserve your seat for this free estate planning workshop. Call now 1-855-FLA-ESTATE. That's 855-352-3782. 855-352-3782.
Brian Craig here. When it comes to auto repair, you want a garage that you can trust. Someone that will only do work on your car when your car needs work. Introducing Champagne Automotive in Boca Raton, the latest sponsor of the Steve Kane Radio Show. Tom called in on the radio to tell us about his experience with Champagne Automotive.
Hi, this is Tom from Tamarack.
Hey, Tom from Tamarack, what's up?
I just want to tell you guys something. I spent the last 2 days trying to get brakes for my car. I was leaving the house yesterday to go try another place that had a lower price. They wanted $800 for the brakes. And that advertisement came on for Champagne. I live in Western Tamarack. I said, let me take a drive up there. Well, I was almost blown over how friendly, honest, old school these people are.
Old school, that's really the term that really describes it.
But let me tell you, the guy I had gone to previously won $800. He said, well, you need to change your power steering fluid. And Ed, the owner, put the car up in the lift, pulled the wheels, says, you don't need brakes. And I about fell over.
Wow, well, tell me the end of the story. You got me hooked.
So it wasn't that your vehicle was misdiagnosed at the other place. You were dealing with a crook.
Oh, absolutely. This guy wanted to sell me everything but a washing machine. I don't want that.
Now, this is our new sponsor. We have wanted for a long time to have an auto repair shop. When it comes to auto repair, that is the most difficult category for us to find as an advertiser because most are
The clouds are beautiful. You guys can't see it from this window. This window's facing south. The beach is right here. Like, I can see the ocean from where I'm standing this way. Unfortunately, guys, we don't have the ocean view. The big executives at the radio station have the ocean view.
In Boca, off Spanish River Boulevard, immediately west of Dixie Highway. The number is 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
Hey guys, welcome back. Yes. 38 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. There was a very interesting story came out about James O'Keefe yesterday. I love James O'Keefe and Project Veritas, and they have had incredible stories over the last few months with these insiders, in particular the stuff they've done on CNN. And do you guys watch these videos? They're absolutely amazing, and they have these guys, they're producers, they do all kinds of stuff, and they're just spilling their guts to someone and while they're eating, right? And we've never really gotten an inside look as to how they get these guys to share everything. And there's a story that came out in the Daily Beast yesterday that exposed one of them. Did you guys see this story? It is hilarious. Former Survivor contestant worked for James O'Keefe as an undercover honeypot targeting Democrats. I figured, and they got a picture over here. I remember her from Survivor. But listen to this. If you're on hold, stand by. I'll go back to the phones in just a moment. This is in the Daily Beast. I remember this girl, and I knew they had some hot girls that were doing this, but they never really let it out of the bag. Democratic campaign worker Michael Kolnick's love life was finally looking up. It was July 2018, and Kolnick had just been interviewed in Houston by an amateur political podcaster named Hope Higgins. After the interview, Higgins invited him to get drinks with her, writing in an email that she would enjoy the company. She was very flirty. She would touch my arm, Kolnick told the Daily Beast. I was definitely picking up a more romantic feeling than a quote-unquote journalist. Weeks of text messaging continued after Higgins returned home to Brooklyn. He was smitten. He even flew to New York to see her. I'm usually not that daring or romantic, Kolnick said. He spent a few days in New York with Higgins, but she seemed to be looking for excuses to avoid him. And after he flew back to Houston, she ghosted him. What he once saw as a promising romance soured more than he could have imagined months later when he received a voicemail from conservative operative James O'Keefe. Higgins had been secretly recording him during their meetings. Now the footage of Kolnick criticizing one of his former bosses, Oregon Governor Kate Brown, Democrat, was set to be released by James O'Keefe. Hope Higgins wasn't real. Instead, the woman Kolnick thought was Hope. Her actual name is Anna. She's a one-time survivor contestant working for Project Veritas. He says, it took a toll on my mental health. It made me less trusting of people. Well, here's some advice. You Democrats, if some hottie that's out of your league is pumping you for information, it's probably Project Veritas. It is hilarious. It's a very long, detailed story. I'm not going to share the rest of it with you, but it cracked me up. I knew that he had some hot girls that were getting all this intel out of these guys. And I remember her in particular on Survivor. So that tells you something, right? Because they have a lot of contestants. All right, good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name?
Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike. What's up?
You know, you're talking about the Democrats and the sort of love affair with communists.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and what they will or won't say about this whole Cuban incident, I think their love of communists goes way back to even before World War II, to the revolution in Russia in, 1970?
Well, when, you got, everybody knows the day that music died, right? What's the day that music died?
Somewhere in late 1950.
Well, who died? Yeah, right. Who died? Buddy Holly.
And Richie Valens.
Richie Valens, the day. Well, the day the music died. There was a similar effect with Democrats when the Berlin Wall fell. It was a similar thing. When the Berlin Wall fell, Democrats, it was like the day that their last best hope when the workers' paradise. When that Berlin Wall came down, Democrats and the media, and I remember watching it live, it was on television, there was no excitement from any of the network news people when the Berlin Wall came down. None. They were so depressed over it. And I'm watching the reaction from Biden. This could not have happened at a better time, because Trump, he lives in Florida. I know he's in Jersey right now, but he has close ties to the Cuban exile community in Miami. They are what brought him Florida, right? In the last election, he won Florida, in particular because of Miami, and so he's got close ties to the Cuban community down there. Okay. And he's going to be speaking about this. He's got 2 rallies coming up. I'm hearing Georgia and Alabama. They've not been confirmed. He does have 2 rallies coming up. That's confirmed. The locations we don't know. So by the time he has his next rally, we're going to have Biden and these other... because Florida is so important to him for 2024, he's going to be speaking about... I'm just ahead of the game, okay, a little bit on this. And already, what do you hear from Biden? They're not calling them freedom protest. They're saying they're COVID protest, that they don't have enough PPE, they don't have enough vaccine down there, and they're rebelling against the poor COVID response of the communist government. That has nothing to do with what's going on. You have the Biden administration saying, we support the Cubans' people right to protest. They do not have a right to protest. By the time Trump has his next rally, Biden's going to have cargo planes landing in Havana, dropping off supplies to help prop up the communist regime. Believe me, Trump will be talking about it at the next rally. Believe me, Florida's too important to him. Don Jr. said Florida's his favorite state.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And look, we have a couple of Florida senators, and of course the governor, that are good people. But the thing about this the Democrats and communists, think about it. What did they do to McCarthy in the 50s when all McCarthy was talking about was the communists and the government?
Yeah, and he was right. The reason that they were upset with McCarthy is he was on to him. See, he was on to him. That's what got them upset. Listen, we're coming up on our quarter till break. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show, on the radio since 1977. Did you guys see Mike Lindell talking at CPAC yesterday? Oh, I did. And he's always got something interesting to say. And, you know, Mike Lindell, he was talking about what he's up against. You know, he has lost about $70 million in sales because of the big box retail stores kicking him out. That's right. And he's laid out millions upon millions of his own money for frank speech. And, of course, he's got these mass lawsuits. He's being sued and all this stuff going on. You know, you follow this stuff. And he was at CPAC yesterday, Mike Lindell, and he was asked, how can people help you in your fight supporting President Trump? And did you hear what Mike Lindell said? He said, go to mypillow.com and buy something. That's what he said. I couldn't believe it. It's exactly, he said it just like that. He says, that's the best way to help me. And he says, you help my efforts, because he needs the money to keep going. And he says, I've been able to keep all of my employees working. I haven't had to lay off anybody, because even though they're doing this to him. Okay? So when you go to mypillow.com, do what Mike Lindell said to do to support him. Buy something. Now use the promo code KANE, of course, K-A-N-E, because there's humongous discounts, and you're also supporting the Steve Kane Show when you use the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. And I want to tell you about a brand new item. I'm going to show this to my wife. MyPillow now has a MyPillow down comforter. Oh, man. Yeah, a MyPillow down comforter. It's beautiful. It comes, of course, with a 10-year warranty. And, you know, I have so many different MyPillow products. I have the pillows, the pet bed, the sheets, the mattress topper, the MyPillow, My Slippers, the MyPillow bathrobe. And, you know, one thing about the MyPillow products, every single one, aren't they high quality? They're incredibly high quality. And this MyPillow down comforter, man, I got to get this. It comes in twin, full sizes, comes in queen, comes in king. It comes in all the different sizes. And, yeah, I know, 10-year warranty. Man, machine washable. This is just a beautiful, beautiful comforter. And now listen to this. With the promo code KANE at checkout at mypillow.com, K-A-N-E, save 30% off. Save 30% off the MyPillow Down Comforter. It's a brand new product. I've not seen this before. 30% off with the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. But, you know, hey, listen, there's something for everybody at mypillow.com. Do what Mike Lindell said to do. Support him by buying something at mypillow.com. Promo code KANE at checkout. You can also order by phone. 800-716-4879. 800-716-4879. Promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. All right, we'll take our break and be right back after this. Don't go anywhere.
Covered AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Hi, my name is Tom Laporta, the owner of Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Restoration. We have been in the roofing and construction industry since 1982. We are state of Florida certified roofing and general contractors focusing on residential and commercial roofing, impact windows, and building restoration. The 2021 hurricane season is upon us. If you have noticed any water stains on your ceiling, or if your roof is older than 15 years, you will want to call us to come out and evaluate your roof. Our services run from minor repairs to complete new roof systems. We install every kind of roof, from regular asphalt shingles, clay or concrete tiles, standing metal seam, wood shakes, and slate tile systems. Call us at 954-604-4602 for a free home inspection and estimate. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
Hi, this is George Corey of the Soul Authority. In this time of social distancing and sheltering in place, many people have been forced to neglect their feet. We at the Soul Authority are making it possible for you to still take care of your feet while remaining in your home, as we will send a doctor to your house for all of your podiatric needs. The best part of all is that Medicare pays for this visit. So, if you're a Medicare recipient, give the Soul Authority a call today at 954-597-7060. That's 954-597-7060. Don't let social distancing stop you from taking care of your feet. Call the Soul Authority today.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWII.
All right, we're back 48 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. Steve, you with us?
I am with you.
Oh, man. So how was your weekend?
Frustrating.
Really?
So my weekend's what I... around the...
Yeah.
It was very confusing. I got a great Maria.
Yeah, she had a good interview with him. Oh, my goodness. You missed Trump's speech. How'd you miss Trump's speech? I called you several times, but you were not answering your phone. There's probably about 25 missed calls from me on your phone. Yeah, I think you have your phone on mute or my number blocked or something. I was getting nervous.
Well, my relationship with my phone is a hate relationship.
Well, you know what? That lake behind your house? Why don't you throw your phone into it and get a new one?
Keep promising to do.
Yeah, that's what I would do if I were you.
Plex than what I'm.
Well, okay, I'll tell you about the Trump thing. Okay, there was one new thing in both the speech and the Maria Bartiromo interview. Okay. Yeah, well, she pulled out of him that he's running for president in 2024, and what President Trump said now this interview was in the morning with Maria Bartiromo and it was before the speech, but twice he said yesterday he was running in 2024. The first one was with her, Maria Bartiromo. She says. I know you've been asked this question before. You say you know your answer, but I'm going to ask you, are you running in 2024? And he says, yes, I know my answer. I cannot answer that question because of campaign finance rules. See, the moment he says I'm running, his fundraising, he's got to go by all that campaign finance. So that's saying, yes, I'm running. Because if he wasn't,
For a week now.
Yeah. And then in his speech at CPAC, he twice said that he's running in 2024. He referred to Melania as the future First Lady, which I missed because I stepped out of the room for a minute to get a Coke, and that's when he apparently said that part. So he referred to Melania as our future First Lady. No, and then. He said at the end, in 2024, we're taking back the White House. He made a big thing at the end of the speech. So 3 times yesterday, Trump said he's running in 2024. So that's all good stuff.
Caught up in other personal things.
Oh, that's probably more interesting than anything.
Should only know.
Oh, really?
Actually, will.
But not on the air today.
On the air and not at this here radio place.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll ask you after the show.
What I used to say.
Yeah, I'll ask you after the show. You can tell me after the show, I guess. Okay. Oh, you can tell me off the air. Okay. All right, that sounds good. But no, it was a good weekend.
There's stuff going on, and I'm... went into...
No, okay. All right, I'm sorry you missed the speech though, because it was a good one. And yeah. Well, no, that was the main thing I just told you. That was the main thing I just told you. The rest was the main takeaway is that he said he's running twice. I mean, that's the main takeaways from the speech. It was pretty amazing thing. And the fact that CPAC normally does, see, there's been big change. Normally CPAC does one CPAC a year, it's done in the DC area, and that's it. Now they've done two, and they moved it out of the DC area. They did one earlier this year in Florida, and then one in Texas. You know, it tells you that the Republican establishment and CPAC have really broken ranks, that they're, you know, CPAC's now MAGA. Trump headlined both CPACs, the one, you know, yesterday in Texas, the one here a few months ago in Florida. And boom, I'm just a little concerned when they did that poll and only 7% of the attendees want Trump to be the nominee in 2024. These never-Trumpers that have, they did a poll, you know, who do you want to be the nominee in 2024? Well, 70%. He won 70% of the vote. It should be like 99 or 100%. No, they did a straw poll at CPAC. It's not scientific. They did two polls. Who do you want to be the nominee? They did one without Trump in the mix, and DeSantis won that one by far. When they added Trump, all right, Trump got 70%, DeSantis got 27 or 28%, the other couple percent, I don't know who that went to. But I don't like this divide at CPAC. It should be like 99, 100% Trump, not 70%. I didn't like that.
CPAC, I don't know if it's CPAC or what, but it was one poll had Trump out in front so far.
Well, 70% is very good. I mean, that's not, don't misunderstand me. That's a landslide, 70%. But it still should be more like closer to 100.
I know, but what Trump
Did you see what percentage Pence got? 0. Not one person. Yeah, I know. God. Yeah. Well, you know, listen, it's a good result. I mean, I'm glad he got 70%. But
Trump did it this way, is if there's going to be a problem or a challenge of any kind, it's got to, the earlier it comes, the better. He's shaking out the field. He's making sure there's no one there that's really...
Well, now here's what's happening, okay? The never-Trumpers are very sneaky. You know that poem about the snake that Trump's always talking about? They're snakes. They're snakes. And the reason that... Okay, so I just read this. Okay, it was 70% Trump, and DeSantis came in second place with 21. Here's what's going on. The never-Trumpers are very devious people. The never-Trumpers voted for DeSantis because they know how strong they are together, and they're trying to cause a division between DeSantis and Trump. So the ones that voted for DeSantis, I love DeSantis, he's our governor. The ones that voted for DeSantis are the Romney, Cheney, Bush, never-Trumpers that are trying to screw up the MAGA movement. You know, so, and then after that, it was, but that's what that's about. So believe me, CPAC is strongly behind Donald Trump. There is no division. There's not this, they're trying to create this thing that there's a split. Is it going to be Trump or DeSantis? That's all fake.
For the never-Trumpers, have to find an acceptable alternative to Trump, or what you see right now is what it's going to be.
Yeah.
And Trump figures if he's going to have a problem on his hands or a challenge on his hands, better know about it now than wait for it to hit late.
Yeah.
That's why it was set up this way, and I think it turned out the best it could.
And the two other things, Trump knows how to be in touch with what's going on. So also in the speech, I'm sorry you missed it because it was very good. He said he's going to end critical race theory, which can be done because the way, like DeSantis outlawed it in Florida, and what that means is, you know, like Broward County can still teach critical race theory, but they lose state funding for their education system, for their school district. So the federal government, when Trump comes back in 2024, this is what he'll do. Okay, yeah, you can have your critical race theory, but no federal funds for your school system. So that's how that'll work. And then, see, this has to do with, he talked a little bit about what's going on in Cuba, too. He said he's going to defeat critical race theory and then communism. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, because that's what's going on in Cuba. And see, this is the thing. Florida is still a battleground state. And what's happening in Cuba is so important to Florida because the Democrats are going to defend the communist regime, and they're going to screw themselves with any hope they have of Florida next time. So this is really a great time for the Trump movement. Now we're coming up on the top of the hour break. When we get back, we'll go back to the phones. Our number 1-888-GO-CANE 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane is here. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. We'll be right back after this.
AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Attention seniors and those who care about them. This is Brian Craig. I'm in studio with Debbie from I Will Advisors. She has an incredible new service to tell you about called I Will Advocates. Debbie, what is I Will Advocates and how are you helping seniors?
Well, Brian, over the past few years of owning a Medicare insurance agency, we've learned that there's a huge need for Medicare advocacy, that a lot of people don't have a child or a spouse that can assist them with their medical needs, and that's where we step in.
There's a lot of things that seniors need help with. Prescriptions, doctor's appointments, things like this. How do you help them with that?
If you're having a problem at the doctor's office, having problems scheduling an appointment in a timely manner, we can step in. If you're having issues at the pharmacy, having problems refilling a prescription, or feel that you're being mischarged for something, you can contact us and we will step in. Even if you're at the hospital and you feel like you're being neglected, we'll be there for you at a touch of a button, whether it's to call the nurse's station or assist in any other way.
So if someone's in the hospital, they feel they're not getting the care that they need, they haven't seen their doctor, they haven't seen their
Steve Kane Show. Steve Kane Show.
Contact the hospital for them?
Absolutely.
Yeah, hold on. What's your name?
We'll step up, we'll call the nurse's station
Okay.
and ask for some assistance. If we can't get anything done there, we'll go to the higher levels.
Now, this is a service that you're offering. Now, they do not have to be an existing client of I Will Advisors to take advantage of this, right?
Oh, of course not. No, we're here for any Medicare client. We can assist in any way. We don't need to be your insurance agent. We're just here to help you with your medical needs.
This is an incredible opportunity for those of you who are Medicare recipients. Debbie at I Will Advocates will help you with your prescriptions. You'll set up doctor's appointments for them, including the primary care physician and specialist, right?
Of course, we'll assist in anything, helping you find new doctors.
They'll help you with your medical billing. They'll help you with your insurance billing. If you feel you've been billed wrong by your doctor, they'll step in for that and even help you if you're in the hospital. Basically, what you're offering is a concierge service to senior citizens.
That's exactly it.
That's amazing. I've never heard of anything like this before. So how much does this cost?
Well, for just $20 a month, you will have the security of knowing that you have an experienced, compassionate advocate just a touch of a button away.
To learn more, call Debbie's office. The number 954-345-1214. 954-345-1214. Or go online. You can sign up online at iwilladvocates.com. That's iwilladvocates.com.
Attention seniors. Have you protected you and your family from financial ruin? You are invited to attend Attorney Barry Siegel's free estate planning workshop. Make sure you and your family are properly protected, even if you already have a trust. Learn how to avoid losing an inheritance to predators, like divorcing spouses.
Jacqueline, $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Jacqueline. I appreciate that.
Learn how to prevent running out of money before you run out of life. Learn how to avoid...
Those super chats are very much appreciated because I mentioned this last week, I think. My videos don't really get monetized because of the content and what we're talking about. So when you guys send those super chats, they mean a lot. So thanks, Jacqueline. Everyone thank Jacqueline, too, by the way.
Estate planning workshop. Call now. 1-855-FLA-ESTATE. That's 855-352-3782. 855-352-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show free, dial 1-888-GO-CANE-1. That's 1-888-GO-CANE-1.
All right, third and final hour has begun. 3 minutes after 8. I'm Brian. Steve is here. This is the Steve Kane Show. Let's go back to our phones. 1-888-GO-KANE. 1 is the number. You're on the radio. What's your name? Yeah, Chris. Of course.
You know, they're really pushing this critical race theory. I have a good thing. I was going to try to arrange a meeting with my Congressman Brian Mast, but what the Republicans ought to do is, because as we know, the teachers unions despise private schools and they loathe charter schools. They ought to give a tax credit to a dollar for dollar tax credit for everyone who sent their kid to a Catholic or Jewish or private school, and that'll.
Yeah, you know, I was talking about this earlier. I saw a guy on Fox. He was such a great point that I had not considered. He was, there's this. They're mandating critical race theory be taught to our servicemen and women, not just the Air Force Academy. They're bringing this to every branch at every rank. It's going to be part of basic training. And there was a guy on Fox yesterday. He says this is crazy. He said, so we're going to have an entire military that we are asking to put their lives on the line to defend this racist, flawed, terrible country that's oppressing so many people. That doesn't do very good for our military readiness. And I thought it was a pretty good point I had not considered.
To see happen, but I haven't worked out the timing in my mind. But I would like to see, as a result of, remember the air controllers with Reagan?
Yeah.
I would like to see a thing where it would have to be after the next election, because
yeah.
Into a corner and
Oh, for teaching critical race theory? Yeah. Yeah.
rid of the, call their bluff.
Yeah.
Somebody in the White House like
Trump.
This,
Well, this critical race theory, it's like they're handing Trump an issue. You saw there was a lot of news made about this on Sunday, that they took down that statue of Robert E. Lee. Okay, Democrat Robert E. Lee, right? But what they didn't make a big deal about, did you see the other statues they took down right after that in the same spot? They took down this no, not Jefferson Davis, but no, they took down the statues of Lewis and Clark and Sacagawea. Now what the
American?
Yeah, I mean, what the hell? Sacagawea is probably the most famous Native American Indian. She's the most famous Indian of all. Well, next to Sitting Bull, But I mean, she's been a positive role model always.
But they had but the fact is they had a public school education. So the powers that be in the Democratic Party have no idea who Sacagawea.
Well, when they were taking down the statue, I wish one reporter would have said, "Who are these people?" They don't even know. They just know they're statues and they want them down.
Yeah, it's a mob mentality.
Yeah, hey, take care. And the same thing goes, though. Robert E. Lee, another Democrat, right? And now Lewis and Clark and Sacagawea are a little different, but they just got mixed up into this because they think all statues are evil. But this is what's going on here. The statue takedown has everything to do with the critical race theory. They are wiping out not just our American history, but our culture, and they're rewriting it. And the reason that they're bringing critical race theory to all the servicemen and women is to brainwash them into their wokeness. And we're in a very dangerous time. This is worse than the closest would be the Civil War divide. Obviously, that was the worst. Well, we're losing right now.
That way. You really believe that?
Well, we're going to have, I'll tell you why.
Be us? You'd rather be them than us?
By the time Trump is back in 2024, they're going to have 4 years of this critical race theory brainwashing going on in the military. And that is not by accident.
I don't know. Why would you say that?
Because they're doing it. The Secretary of Defense, Biden's Secretary of Defense, is doing it. I hope. No, but there's some things where they're gaining ground quickly.
They get do all this stuff secretly that nobody knows about, and it's outrageous and all this stuff. Then all of a sudden it becomes public, and an uproar.
Yeah.
Public finds out about it and gets
Elix,
outraged.
$10 super chat. Thank you.
Ends up kicking their ass.
Well, see, this week is the next couple days. See, I'm a couple days ahead of these other people in the media are too brain dead and hungover on Mondays to know what the hell's going on. But this business that's going on in Cuba is going on across what? Oh, then you just no, it's not. You haven't been seeing the footage because it's not been on TV yet. I've been following this and what's coming out of the White House and what's been going on down there. They were marching with American flags down there, okay, in Cuba while they're crying out freedom, and already Biden and the White House have come out defending the regime, and they're in a major conflict. And today, at the White House press briefing, when Peter Doocy asked Jen Psaki about what's going on down there, and she tries to make this a COVID riot, it's good. This a big week. The Democrats are in big trouble this week.
I don't see it.
Well, because you haven't seen it in the news yet.
Well, I hear you describe it. I know what's going on. I just don't. The overall thing, they've got Biden, we've got Trump. What more do you need than that? That's headed by Biden than by Trump going into the next.
I didn't say that.
They've got the upper hand.
No. With what's going on with the critical race theory right now, and a few of these other things, conservatives are not combating it very well. We've got a couple of instances, like we got a couple governors that have banned it. Another governor yesterday outlawed the critical race theory.
A little bit of time, for crying out loud. This thing has just become, the details of this thing have just become available in the past month or two. I mean, it's a hot issue that's getting ready to peak.
Yeah, I hope you are correct. Like this, this school board in Virginia, right? All these protests that have been going on up there for the past few months, right, where they're arresting the parents at the school board meetings, has it stopped them from having it in the school system? It doesn't look like it.
It hasn't peaked yet.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, and there's been nowhere in the country hotter on this issue than Virginia.
Any callers that have opinions on?
Well, we'll find out. Let me give out the number.
But I can't believe I'm that far off base.
All right. Well, let's find out. Let me give out the number. Our number is toll free 1-888-GO-CANE1 888-465-2631. You're on the air. Good morning.
Morning, guys. Hey, question I got in Cuba and the Democrats. Earlier, during or right after the election, they were talking about the Democrats wanting to add states to PAC courts and.
Mm-hmm.
Democrats, I mean, you are behind what's going on because.
Going on where? What do you mean with what's going on? We got to be more. Oh God, no. No. They're screwed with what's going on in Cuba. They're screwed with what's going on down there. Well, it's because if you're already seeing it. All right. The White House released a mild statement. They said one from the White House and one from the State Department. The State Department, I was talking about earlier, they said, the Cubans are exercising their right to peacefully assemble. You're not allowed to assemble in Cuba, and they're attacking the police down there. The White House said that this is happening because they don't have enough PPE and vaccines. They're making it a COVID issue. They're missing. No, they're in a. You'll see quickly. You'll start to see later today. If Rush was still alive on the air and everything, the media would grab onto it faster. But we have these idiots on in the middle of the day in that time slot, and they don't understand this. But by the middle of the week, you'll see conservatives embarrassing AOC and others on this, and you'll start to hear defense of the communists down there by the Democrats.
Help who?
No, it helps us. Yeah. I didn't say that. I'm not saying we're in a losing position. Yeah, the Democrats are. Yeah. But the one place where we're losing ground, though, we're winning on the critical race theory in the schools because we have Republican governors and we have parents. Where we're losing the critical race theory is in the military, where they're mandating it from this Secretary of Defense. And it was exposed that they're doing it at the Air Force Academy, but the professor's still there, and they're still teaching it at the Air Force Academy. So that's where we're losing on critical race theories in the military.
I believe it was Karl Marx who said, give me one generation of youth, and I will change things communist.
And there was a story that came out Friday, total cover-up on, about Trump, and it was confirmed on Friday, and multiple sources, that President Trump wanted to bring the National Guard into D.C. prior to the events there because of how many people were coming. Yeah, and Pelosi said no.
Come out.
It came out Friday.
And all of it works against them.
Yeah, no, we all agree on that, Steve. We all agree. Hey, listen, caller, thanks so much for your call. Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name?
This is Lee from Lauderdale.
Hey, Lee, what's up?
Good morning, Steve.
Good morning.
From my perspective, Steve, here's what's happening. The Democrats are doing more damage in a short space of time than the conservatives can do repairing. And so the problem is, Steve, is what you're doing right now, it's going to be such a damage to our culture and society that by the time we come around trying to fix it, it's going to take double. Right now, we need to be on top of it because they're actually winning.
Well, when you say it, you're being vague. When you say it, what are you talking about? Be more specific. Be more specific. See, the critical race theory with the military is about brainwashing the military against the American people. It's happening right now. When Trump comes back in, it'll be gone. But that's 4 years from now, Steve. So they're going to have 3 or 4 years of the brainwashing is what we're saying.
Too much, but I could definitely see it a possible scenario going into the off year.
Yeah.
The idea of Trump as Speaker of the throwing him up there to run in the next election.
Yeah. Yeah.
People haven't really taken that too seriously yet, but I think that it might deserve more attention than it's getting.
Mm-hmm. Let's take one more call before the next break. All right. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name?
Steve, how are we doing today?
We're doing great.
Wisconsin Gary. Some key points I want to bring out.
Yes, Gary.
With the Cuba, you know, with the Democrats trying to say that because they need more PPE stuff, is this going to end up being like Venezuela? A field somewhere, and those people weren't getting it. You know, is that what that's going to end up being with Cuba? And the other thing that I wanted to bring up, now I just lost the train of thought, but I mean, just with the Cuba alone, you know, Democrats are going to try figuring out every single narrative they can to try to avoid it. But now, getting back to my second point is, with the Democrats getting rid of all these monuments, what's the next thing they're going to start doing? Revisioning the laws of the
Yeah, listen, I appreciate. Listen, it's time for a break, but take care, Gary. Appreciate the call. We're up against a break. We're late for a break. It's 19 minutes after the hour. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. We'll be back right after this.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all the major brands like Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beaten. Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van at the other shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price at Friendly Tire, only $65.
Linda, thank you very much. $20 super chat. Everyone, thank Linda. Thank you so much.
On the road, free mounting and balancing, and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive, and he will give you a great low price right over the phone at 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net.
Hi, my name is Tom Laporta, the owner of Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Restoration. We have been in the roofing and construction industry since 1982. We are state of Florida certified roofing and general contractors focusing on residential and commercial roofing, impact windows, and building restoration. The 2021 hurricane season is upon us. If you have noticed any water stains on your ceiling, or if your roof is older than 15 years, you will want to call us to come out and evaluate your roof. Our services run from minor repairs to complete new roof systems. We install every kind of roof, from regular asphalt shingles, clay or concrete tiles, standing metal seam, wood shakes, and slate tile systems. Call us at 954-604-4602 for a free home inspection and estimate. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for it.
All right, we are back. Now, you and I, we met up on Friday, Steve, and Steve and I have to meet up, you know, because Steve has his studio at home. I'm at the radio station in Boca. So Steve and I meet up every week or so to do business. You know, we have to do business things, so we get together. And sometimes we do business in parking lots and things like this. We'll meet, and I know it's a little strange, and you know, sometimes it involves money exchanges and stuff. Yeah.
You may end up with a midway office.
Yeah, that's true. We may need to get it off. But anyway, it's an interesting thing though. So Steve and I met Friday late in the morning, and I got out of my car, and you pulled up. You were in Tyler's car, and you rolled down the window. And when you rolled down the window, it was hot on Friday, man. It was like 90-something degrees. I got a blast of ice cold air came and hit my body just as you rolled down your window, because you had just gotten the car AC repaired at Champaign Automotive. And I didn't think that was repairable, at least not in a way that was financially viable. I told you, I said, when you get that AC looked at, you got to decide, is it worth getting it fixed, or should you get Tyler a new car? And let me tell you, that air conditioner repair that Champaign Automotive did on that car, it is ice cold. I mean, and it was in the 90s, and the heat index had to be like 100 degrees when we got together the other day, and still, boom, it was ice. I put my hand in front of the AC vent, and I couldn't believe how cold it was. They did an amazing job. So listen. Well, I'll tell you, Champagne Automotive Repair, we tell you this with pride. No other auto shop will tell you this. They will never do a repair on your vehicle that your vehicle does not need. And also, their prices are incredibly reasonable. I've had a lot of work done on my daughter. They've done for me has been about half of what other places charge. And Steve got an incredible deal getting the AC work done on this car. And it is ice cold. That AC is as cold as the day that car was new in the showroom, and it's got over 100,000 miles on it today. So listen, give Champagne Automotive Repair a call. Their number, 561-245-8101, 561-245-8101. Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio. Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name?
Hi, Brian. This is Rolanda.
Hey, Rolanda.
Hi, Steve. I just wanted to say, with regards to Robert E. Lee, the statues coming down and whatnot, I recall reading, I think, a portion of his autobiography in which he himself was not comfortable with the monuments that were being erected to him and other generals in the Civil War, or any general for that matter. He said because those monuments would not give the country a chance to heal. Maybe unwittingly, these idiots who think that they're just tearing down statues are actually helping the country heal.
No, they don't. This is the thing, okay, about the statues. The reason they tear down the statues, they're all Democrats, okay, is because what happens, blacks are waking up. You saw Trump at CPAC. There were so many black people at CPAC. Before, at the old CPACs, prior to Trump, there were no black people there. They'd be like one black person. They'd be a keynote speaker because they were a black Republican and talk about how they escaped the Democrat plantation. Now, there's so many black people there. And the Democrats, what happens with these statues that people walk by every day, every once in a while, somebody walks up and they read it, and then they Google it on their phone and like, wait a minute, this guy was a Democrat? Why am I voting for these Democrats? So that they're wiping out their own Democrat history is what they're doing.
Yeah, well, I'm told they never touched the one for Stephen Douglas, and with all due respect, if they wanted to tear down one, he's one, but that's another.
Well, all these monuments should stay in Delray Beach. If you go to Atlantic Avenue in Delray, which is a nice area, it kind of looks like Las Olas Boulevard in Fort Lauderdale. There's an old city hall, the old Delray City Hall, and if you go in there, the bathrooms still say colored on them. They don't take that down because people need to remember this stuff, and the Democrats are taking down the statues to try to stop the exodus of blacks from the Democrat to the Republican Party by wiping out the racist history of the Democrats. See, that's what they're doing.
And to be quite honest with you, we often talk about the different presidents and whatnot, but I'm telling you, I'm learning some things about certain ones that are just.
I'll tell you this. I'll tell you a quick thing here. What the media do is they confuse, like when we say we don't want Lee's statue down, that we're like defending Lee. No, we just want the history to be known. The biggest memorial, no one knows this. I'll tell you guys real quick. Well, some people know, but most people don't. The biggest memorial to Robert E. Lee is Arlington National Cemetery. Arlington National Cemetery was Robert E. Lee's plantation. And during the Civil War, there was a Union officer in charge of occupying it, and his kid got killed by the Confederates. So he started burying the war dead there, so Robert E. Lee couldn't come back to his plantation. They haven't figured that one out yet either. But the Democrats, yeah, go ahead, Rolando.
For years, believe it or not, the military has always been a nervous point for them, because usually when those ballots always came back, they usually came back in the
You know, I just went to the Fox News website. Their lead story, it's on the Cuban freedom revolution that's going on. And so, see, this is going to be a bad week for the Democrats because of what's happening in Cuba. Listen to the headline. This is it on Fox. Because Fox is getting on board with this. Cuban communist president urges loyalists to counter the protest. United States appeals for calm. So here you have, this is Biden. So Biden's appealing for calm. So here you have the Cuban people rising up against the communist regime, and Biden immediately says, stop doing it. Stop doing it. Biden just came out in support of the communist dictators in Cuba, and this isn't going to stop. It's going to be all week, and this is going to be a glorious week because these democratic socialists are running the Democrat Party, and they can't support the protesters down there. It's going to be great. Listen, it's 8:30. We're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. And I'll tell you, guys, take a break from some of the conservative cable news after we're off the air, of course, and start watching a little bit of CNN and MSNBC, and you'll start to get some inklings of what I'm saying here. All right, 1-888-GO-CANE-1 is our number. It is a toll-free call from anywhere, 1-888-465-2631. We'll be right back after this. Don't go anywhere.
FM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach. Attention seniors, have you protected you and your family from financial ruin? You are invited to attend attorney Barry Siegel's free estate planning workshop. Make sure you and your family are properly protected even if you already have a trust. Learn how to avoid losing an inheritance to predators like divorcing spouses, lawsuits, creditors, government agencies, and the IRS. Learn how to prevent running out of money before you run out of life. Learn how to avoid being forced to spend down your assets. Learn how to avoid nursing home seizure of your assets. This free workshop with attorney Barry Siegel is Tuesday, July 20th at 10 a.m. at the South County Civic Center in Delray. Seating is limited, so reserve your seat for this free estate planning workshop. Call now, 1-855-FLA-ESTATE. That's 855-352-3782. 855-352-3782.
Hi, Brian Craig here. I'm in studio with my wife, Kathy, and she's here to tell you about her experience with the MyPillow mattress topper.
Well, as you know, Brian, I was waking up in pain almost every morning for years and years, and we had bought a new mattress not that long ago, but it still was not doing the trick, so I said to you, let's get the MyPillow mattress topper, and let's see if it helps or makes any kind of a difference. And I have to tell you, after sleeping on it just one night, I woke up no pain. I felt incredible. It made a huge difference for me. And the pain has not returned.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing. Now go to MyPillow.com and order your MyPillow mattress topper and do what Kathy and I did. Use the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. And this is an incredible deal because with the promo code KANE, you will save 30% off the MyPillow mattress topper and get 2 free MyPillows. But you've got to use the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. It comes in every size too, from twin all the way up to California King. That's promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for it.
All right, yes. And Mike Lindell said at CPAC, the best thing you can do to support him and his efforts to support Trump is buy something at MyPillow.com. Of course, with the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. Did you hear about this black racist teacher, Steve, in the news? Listen to this. This is in the New York Post today. This Washington Heights, that's in New York. The faculty of a Washington Heights high school is rebelling against their principal, voting a vote of no confidence that she attempted to divide the school by race. Paula Lev, principal of the high school, is now under investigation by the New York City Department of Education for telling a faculty member she was, quote, going to get rid of all these white teachers that aren't doing anything for the kids of our community, unquote. The principal also asked the faculty to conspire with her to try to get rid of a white colleague. So, she is black. Well, one of the things that the critical race theory business has done is a lot of black racists have really come out of the closet hardcore, feel so entitled with their anger towards white people and their hatred and their racial prejudice and all this stuff. I mean, the Democrats are really in some trouble with this stuff. They really are. And this, I mean, she's openly if she is openly conspiring to get rid of teachers because they are white, she's got a sickness, because there's always been people like this, but they don't do something so outwardly racist. They find another excuse. They start making, you know what I mean? They get out a list and they check it twice every time they're 30 seconds late to work, or, you know what I mean? They get a list of grievances that look like real grievances, not the real one that they're racist. I mean, for her to actually say, okay, work with me to get rid of these white teachers, we don't want white teachers here, that's a new area we're in, and that's the,
The dialogue was, and I'm sure when you read the other side's...
Well, her side's going to be denial, but I'm not going to believe her. She's lying. She's lying. Well, I think they believe the people making the claim, because the teachers at that school are Democrats too. So, she doesn't want, it's not political. It's a racial thing. All right, our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1. Ron DeSantis just tweeted this morning. And Trump is going to be down here in Miami at some point. I'm expecting, Trump has two rallies coming up, they've said, and the rumor is Georgia, and I heard Alabama. They've not been confirmed. One of those two rallies, or a third one's going to be in Miami over this Cuban thing. Ron DeSantis just tweeted, Florida supports the people. Now keep in mind, Biden just said, calm down, which means go home, stop protesting in the workers' paradise. DeSantis just tweeted this morning, Florida supports the people of Cuba as they take to the streets against the tyrant regime in Havana. The Cuban dictatorship has oppressed the people of Cuba for decades and is now trying to silence those who have the courage to speak out against its disastrous policies. Hashtag SOS Cuba. And Ron DeSantis tweeted a video of these people taking to the streets and protest. You have no right to even criticize. If in Cuba, it's not only illegal to criticize the government, it's illegal to hear someone do it and not turn them in. And it's crazy. What these people are doing in Cuba is seriously risking their lives, and immediately, you see the divide in this country, right? You got DeSantis, you got Trump on the side of the Cuban people, you got Biden defending the regime and looking to bail them out somehow, to give assistance to them, and telling the protesters to go home, which is what the White House said this morning. This is going to be an exciting week, with this. All right, let's go back to the phones. You're on the radio. What's your name? How many times? Yeah, I have a condition, and I'm taking medication for it. I have a couple problems going on. Because I'm being treated, yeah, exactly.
People, what?
Well, you guys asked personal questions, so.
Oh, you think I'm a rhino. Exactly. Oh, my goodness. Is that what your husband told you to say before you called in? I got a couple of things going on. Really? Oh, there's something. Oh, you take offense to someone being gay? That's interesting. Listen, I have a couple of issues that I'm being treated for. I'm sorry that I'm doing better. I'm sorry to report that I'm doing better. Oh, I can tell. I can tell you want the best for me. I can tell by your tone. And what kind of stalker are you? Yeah, I went to Orlando on the weekend. What kind of guy are you? What kind of man are you to follow my movements? Oh, so you follow me on social media? You follow what I'm doing? Oh, yeah. You're obsessed with me. You're obsessed with me. Don't let your husband find out, okay? Oh, my goodness. Yeah, you might get jealous. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Why are all of my creepy stalkers men? Can I just have one female stalker once? I don't get it. I don't get it. I guess it's talk radio, man. I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I am doing better, people. Thank you very much. Oh, my goodness. But I'm only doing better because of Any Lab Test Now with Boca. And I'm glad he called in because it gives me an opportunity to share Any Lab Test Now with Boca and Any Lab Test Now with Coral Springs. I found out just quite by accident that of what my issues were when I went over there for the basic checkup. I went over there to get a COVID test, and I said, hey, while I'm here, can I get the basic checkup, which they gave me. And when I got the results the next day, I found out a couple of things. And I would have eventually found out about them, but who knows what kind of shape I would have been in by then, right? But I was talking about this earlier in the show, Steve. My wife was having some issues. She went to the doctor. Doctor told her that it's allergy. She needed to go for allergy testing. And she went over to Any Lab Test Now with Boca and had the allergy testing at Any Lab Test Now with Boca. Have you ever had allergy testing anywhere, Steve? You know how they do it? They stick you with 90 needles at the allergist? Yeah, it's 90 needles. They cover your back. They cover your arms. At Any Lab Test Now with Boca and Coral Springs, they do complete allergy testing for both food and environmental allergens. And they do it with just one blood draw, just like a normal lab test. And she got the results back and found out there were a couple of foods that she was allergic to that she was eating every single day that were causing her a lot of health problems. So what do? You stop eating the things you're allergic to. And she found that out because of Any Lab Test Now with Boca. Now, she had that test done a couple weeks back, and I was waiting to share it with you because I wanted to see how it turned out. And it was amazing. Quick, boom, in and out, 15 minutes or less, not 90 sticks of a needle to the back and all over the arms, just one blood draw, boom. And that's the way it is. Now listen, there's lots of Any Lab Test Nows around, but only 2 advertising on the Steve Kane Show, okay? Any Lab Test Now with Boca, which is in the Sandalfoot Plaza where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road, north of Hillsborough on the east side of 441, State Road 7. And Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs, which is on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood near the Coral Square Mall. And both locations and their numbers listed at stevekaneshow.com. That allergy testing has been a lifesaver for my wife and a lifesaver for me with that basic checkup. And I appreciate that jerk calling in to remind me to share the good news with everyone. But Steve, you know, since this is the summer of Trump. I'm dubbing this the summer of Trump, right? Because he had the rallies, he had CPAC in Texas, you know, and he's got 2 more rallies coming up. And I'm telling you, he will be coming to Florida in support of the Cuban community down here in Miami. There's no doubt about it. You can already see that. And you know, he lives here. He understands. And the Cubans in Miami are what brought him Florida in the last election, right? It was Dade County was, I don't know, how's Dade County going to turn out? And it came out for Trump in large part because of the Cuban community down there. So he's got strong ties to them. And I expect to see the whole family down. And they have a resort down there. The Trump Doral is down in South Miami. So I expect to see the whole Trump family here in Miami in support of this. And you can tell by every reaction of the liberals. Look at what happened. Trump has this historic thing at CPAC yesterday, which was just an amazing event. He's announced he's running for president basically in 2024, and then look at how it's triggered the liberals, like that last guy. You know what I mean? The liberals are in a panic over Trump, worse than they've ever been. This is the worst Trump derangement that they've experienced because what's going on now, it's not just Trump. There's a bunch of other little Trumps and these governors around, and you know.
And not that. You're right. It's more than Trump. It's Trump and everybody else in that party. They have nobody. They've destroyed the party. Stop and think about it. Who's next in line for the presidency after?
Kamala.
Hey.
Yeah.
Worst candidate anywhere in the world than Kamala?
Yeah. No, they're in big trouble. They got nobody. They got no one. No, nobody. Yeah.
Yeah, these things. I just have a real good sense of intuition. And what's going to happen here is little by little, it's going to become evident that Trump is going to be the next president. And these people have nothing to throw at it. What they're going to try to do is what they did last time. You know what they did last time, Brian?
What? You tell me. Tell me. Well, I'll tell you. I did see you're talking about Kamala. I saw a story on Twitter last night. It was very interesting. There's a big divide between the Kamalas and the Bidens. And these. Well, there's been a lot of negative stories that have been out about Kamala Harris recently. One of them was this bully boss thing that she's doing with her VP office, and I think I know who it was. It was a reporter who tweeted this, and it was one of two people. I can't remember which one. It might have been Jack Basso. I can't remember which one tweeted this yesterday. But there was a reporter yesterday tweeted they found out that the Biden people are leaking these negative stories on Kamala to stop her from invoking the 25th Amendment. That the Biden camp in the White House is afraid that Kamala is going to invoke the 25th Amendment because of things that have been going on. And there's a battle going on between them. Well, she's the one that has to initiate it, yeah. She has to get the majority of the cabinet to sign off on it, but she has to initiate it. The vice president has to initiate it. Nobody else can. People can talk about it, but she has to initiate it. And it shows you that there's a battle inside the White House between these two camps. Listen, we're going to take our last break of the day. And when we get back, it'll be time for the Gold Report. All right, you're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Steve is here. I'm Brian. Our number toll-free 1-888-GO-KANE 1-888-465-2631. We'll be back right after this.
My name is Tom Laporta, the owner of Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Restoration. We have been in the roofing and construction industry since 1982.
Jacqueline, Kathy, $15 super chat. Thank you so much, Kathy. And Jacqueline, I think I already thanked you. If I didn't, thank you. Linda, $20 super chat. Thank you, thank you.
The 2021 hurricane season is upon us. If you have noticed any water stains on your ceiling, or if your roof is older than 15 years, you will want to call us to come out and evaluate your roof. Our services run from minor repairs to complete new roof systems. We install every kind of roof, from regular asphalt shingles, clay or concrete tiles, standing metal seam, wood shakes, and slate tile systems. Call us at 954-604-4602 for a free home inspection and estimate. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
Hey guys, Brian Craig here. I have the MyPillow slippers, and Mike Lindell, he's right. These are the most comfortable slippers I've ever worn. And you can get them for 40% off at MyPillow.com with the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. One of our listeners called in on the air and told us about his experience with the MyPillow My Slippers.
Brian, I have the MyPillow slippers, and I have neuropathy. These are fantastic slippers.
Really? Which ones do you have? Which style do you have?
The fur-lined one.
Oh, the slip-on fur-lined ones?
Yeah, inside, outside.
What is neuropathy, and what are the symptoms?
Well, the nerves in your feet start going bad, and it affects your balance, and it's painful.
So you're wearing the MyPillow My Slippers, which, by the way, 40% off with the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, and it's helped with your neuropathy.
Yes, it is. It's much. I have to wear slippers at home. I can't go barefoot or even with socks on.
Wow.
So I have to wear that. And I also have the MyPillow pillow and the MyPillow mattress topper and the.
That mattress topper is unbelievable, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Oh, man.
My wife loves it.
Oh, man. I know, they're all great. Yeah, I know. And by the way, when you use the promo code KANE at checkout, 40% off the MyPillow slippers, 30% off the MyPillow mattress topper, and you get 2 free MyPillows with it. So it's great. Well, that's awesome. Order your MyPillow My Slippers 40% off with the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com, or call 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE, K-A-N-E.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, and it is time for the Gold Report, brought to you by William Youngerman of William Youngerman Inc. William, of course, one of the top traders. He's world-renowned, and those of you who've been following him and his advice through the recent years, I think it's been about last 50 years. Altogether, he's been advising people on trends and movements in the gold market since
Yeah.
The price of metals continue to trade at range, holding above the 18-month and showing something there. The technicals that are holding gold down haven't really changed. The dollar index up around 82.2 this morning. Oil right around, I think, which could be actually inflation. We'll see how the whole, but the gold has closed out the week at the
small problem.
Yeah, we have a bad cell connection with you this morning. You just cut out on us a little bit.
Can't get back to you.
Hold on,
Oh, now you're back. You sound spectacular now. That sounds better. Do you want to start over with the prices, because some people might have missed a couple of them?
Sure. Traded gold ending up $4.80 on Friday at $1,807.90 the ounce. Silver closed up 21 cents on Friday at $26.09 the ounce. Platinum gained $27 at $1,095, and palladium was up $13 on Friday, closing out the week at $2,753. The fundamentals that are holding the metals in these ranges are still there for us as far as the U.S. dollar is still weak, but not as weak as it was. That's indexed around 92.30. Oil holding up nicely above $70 at $73.70 this morning. And gold overnight traded in a range from $1,798 to $1,811. Right now we're at $1,802. That's down $5.90 from Friday's close. Silver down 9 cents right now at $26. Silver's trying to build a base at that $26 number, so anything under $26 seems to be a buying opportunity, as well as gold. Anything under $1,800 gold now seems to be the buying opportunity. Platinum up $5 this morning at $1,100 the ounce, and palladium down $9 at $2,744. The Bitcoin is at $33,500, and that's pretty much where we're starting.
Well, looking good. Now, guys out there, William Youngerman is open weekdays at 10 a.m. and located right here in Boca Raton at 150 East Palmetto Park Road on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. Online, WilliamYoungerman.com, and the number 800-327-5010. All right, William Youngerman, we will talk tomorrow. All right, take care. Yeah, so they said out of the Trump campaign yesterday that he's got 2 more rallies planned. They didn't say where. And this is it. I mean, the Democrats are in big trouble. I mean, they got nothing. Well, the problem they're running into when if you watch Trump's speech yesterday at CPAC, okay? He doesn't, he'll reference things you've heard before, but these aren't like, what do they call those stump speeches? It's not a stump speech. He always brings up whatever is going on in that particular week that's at the top of the news cycle, okay? And what that does is it puts the Democrats on, every time he gives a speech, they're on defensive, because he's calling them out for whatever stupidity they've done that particular week. Like in yesterday's speech, he was talking about he's going to end critical race theory and fighting communism because of what's going on in Cuba. That was like in real time, because this started yesterday. So, he is on top of them with everything they do, and they can't combat it because they're on the wrong side of everything. I mean, they're just totally screwing everything up. The incompetence is not even measurable. They're so incompetent. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
This discussion this morning, you and I, with you telling me that it was the other way.
No, I did not say that. That's what you heard, but I did not say that. I said in the military, the critical race theory is being stopped everywhere it's at, except the military, because they control the military, and they're not, that's not until Trump's back in 2024. They're pushing this hardcore. They're pushing this hardcore, and it's not good. You know, it's not good, and that's the one place that they have some control over right now. And his Secretary of Defense is this retired general is very militant. He's a very militant race, and he's very racist. You know, against white people. So he feels that this is his, this is his duty to do this. It's pretty brutal. But other than the military, we're winning on every front. You know, I mean, you know, we can't win 100% of things. You know. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's time to check in with Richard Pearl, actually. So Richard Pearl, whose show Richard Pearl on Politics is on our radio station weekdays at noon, is with us. Hey, Richard Pearl, what do you have on deck today? Oh my goodness. Well, he must have support Derek Chauvin in the George Floyd case, because George Floyd was breaking the law too. Oh.
And he called.
Oh, there you go.
But I pointed out Mike
was
a fascist nation, and this is a man who excuses everything Democrats made up, perpetuate.
Oh. Mm-hmm. No, he wasn't. Well, I'll tell you this, as the clock is ticking down, Richard Pearl, but I'll tell you this German that you're talking to that thinks that Ashley Babbitt was a justified murder, you know, the only reason he's not a Nazi is because we won the war. If we didn't win the war, that guy you were arguing with would be a Nazi today, you know, and maybe he is still, who knows.
And he was first because he didn't know how to deal with it, and I almost went over and started.
Well, let me tell you something. If you've learned anything from this conversation with Richard Pearl today, Simply Natural is a retail store like no other. I mean, this now Richard Pearl's nutraceutical store that has all this action going on in it involving politics is located in Sunrise, just north of Sunset Strip, on the east side of University, open 7 days a week, 11 a.m. till 9. And the number over there is 954 741-4045. And, of course, Richard Pearl on politics, weekdays at noon on our radio stations. All right, have a great show today, Richard Pearl. Yeah, take care. All right, we'll talk tomorrow. All right, Steve, we're out of time. You want to sign us off?
Got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
All right, guys. Hey, listen, thanks for watching. And I got to run, but if you have not already, like the video and subscribe, all right? I'll see you guys later.